Chapter 700 Auroras from Beyond the Cosmos. Please subscribe, _2 whoosh. In the center of battlefield a 076, deep within an eternal spatial rift thousands of miles long, a gray fog slowly dissipated. Deep within the eternal spatial rift, the gray fog was omnipresent. This was the chaos void, the birthplace of countless universes, the chaos void. And at a far distance outside this eternal spatial rift, an aura-like radiance, scintillating with brilliant colors, shot through with incredible speed. Where the aurora passed, all the gray fog was evaporated completely. Just a few breaths had passed. The dazzling aurora had penetrated deep into the eternal spatial rift. Battlefield A076. Many strong entities were engaged in battle. Even powerhouses of Tier 10 Grade A and Tier 11 occasionally entered the fray, influencing the tilt of the scales in localized wars. At that moment, above the battlefield, within the eternal spatial rift, a dazzling aurora burst forth. Boom, boom, boom. The aurora tore through everything. Even the incredibly stable space of the large battlefield was as fragile as thin paper, and even the battlefield itself was exceedingly weak. Arg! What is this? On the battlefield, many 11th rank lives hadn't even reacted before they were reduced to dust by the aurora. In the blink of an eye, battlefield A076, spanning hundreds to thousands of light years in diameter, collapsed rapidly with countless lives, including 11th rank powerhouses, all perishing. Moreover, an invisible wave, following each dead life form, spread towards all directions of the universe. This aurora? Around the battlefield, towering figures appeared, their faces grave as they observed the shattered large alien battlefield and that still mighty, undiminished, brilliant-colored aurora. Stop it! More than 10 towering figures took action swiftly, power transcending time and space spreading unceasingly, and ultimately, they contained the aurora. This aurora carries the power of a causal curse killing. Every life that dies under the aurora has to bear the corresponding causal curse killing. Sir, the novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lives below the 10th rank should not be able to withstand it. Which ancient relics method is this again? The more than 10 towering figures were all supreme beings. They exchanged a few words and started to study the aurora. Over the long years, various variables often poured into the eternal spatial rift, like the body of a supreme being over 100 years ago, as well as the brilliant aurora that just appeared. Both entities clearly reached the 12th rank level, especially that aurora. After traversing an endless distance, the remaining might was still tremendously terrifying. What happened in alien race battlefield code A076 quickly spread to all the myriad clans of the cosmic starry sky. What? A large alien battlefield has disappeared? Lin Yuan blinked, looking at Nalen, the tower submaster. The size of each large alien battlefield was hundreds of light years in diameter, and even within the vast cosmic starry skies, they were considered colossal. How could it just vanish into thin air? It is said that it was shattered by an aurora from beyond the universe. Nalen, the tower submaster, said with an unusually shocked tone. Normally, large alien battlefields, personally refined by supreme beings, are difficult to destroy. Even in battles between supreme being, only parts of it would be shattered at most, as they tend to avoid damaging the battlefield as much as possible when clashing. An aurora from beyond the universe? Lin Yuan raised an eyebrow. Exactly, said Nalen, the tower submaster. An aurora from beyond the universe shattered the entire large alien battlefield. If not for the Supreme Being's intervention, that aurora's might could have caused widespread devastation. This incident was no secret. Now the entire myriad clans of the cosmic starry sky were abuzz with it. Terrifying. Lin Yuan fell silent for a while. He had long known that the dangers on the large alien battlefields were not limited to the different species. Outside the eternal spatial rift, the many perils of the chaos void also threatened all the strong entities on the battlefield. What has become of that aurora now? Lin Yuan couldn't help asking. Not sure, replied Nalen, the tower submaster, shaking her head. It's likely fallen into the hands of a supreme being. That Aurora carries the power of causal curse killing. All lives below 9th rank and 8th rank that died under the Aurora, along with their avatars, perished completely. Our human civilization has lost over 1 million 9th rank and 8th rank lives because of this, Naylan added. Causal curse-killing power? Lin Yuan's expression grew solemn. Such a widespread curse-killing power against 9th and 8th rank lives, even to a supreme being, would be a burden. So, the next date for human civilization's resurrection should be moved up, said Naylan, the tower submaster. Based on past patterns, the next time supreme beings would act to resurrect lives should be in 2,000 years. But with the collapse of a large alien battlefield, the number of evolved human civilization lives lost has suddenly surged several levels, effectively filling up the resurrection list for the next 2,000 years. Under such circumstances, supreme beings usually take action to resurrect earlier than planned. The resurrection date will be moved up? Lin Yuan nodded slightly. He wasn't entirely clueless about this. When supreme beings resurrect dead lives, it's not based on intervals of time. It's based on the number of dead lives, that is, the number of evolvers on the resurrection list. Once the number of evolvers on the resurrection list reaches the threshold, supreme beings will act to resurrect en masse. In the personal virtual world of Xia Qin's supreme being. Supreme being. Lin Yuan's figure appeared, bowing slightly to Xia Qin's supreme being seated on the throne. How is it? How's your comprehension of the fusion rules within the Heritage Star going? Xia Qin's supreme being asked with a smile on his face. Search the novel Fire Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 701 Auroras from Beyond the Cosmos. Please subscribe. _3" It's manageable. Lin Yuan nodded. With the guidance of fusion rules and his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan's comprehension of the life and death samsara rule had advanced rapidly. To say it progressed by leaps and bounds each day was not an exaggeration. This meeting with the Supreme Being is for a matter. Lin Yuan hesitated before speaking up. Oh, what matter? The expression of Xia Qin's Supreme Being remained unchanged, but he was quite pleased internally. He was not afraid of Lin Yuan asking him for favors, only that Lin Yuan would have no requests at all. I heard that the resurrection date will be moved up. Lin Yuan inquired. Yes. The next resurrection time will be set for a year from now. Xia Qin's Supreme Being nodded. When the resurrection list was full, naturally, the sooner the resurrection, the better. For ultimate beings, going against the flow required a cost, which was already set here. Resurrecting one life or tens of thousands, the cost of traversing upstream was the same. The backlash that follows would depend on the strength and number of lives resurrected. I have a good friend who has just entered 6th rank, not included in this resurrection list. Lin Yuan spoke up. To get on the resurrection list, there were 2 ways. One was to have an extremely astonishing natural talent and capability. Such an evolver, if they met an untimely demise, would be listed for resurrection by the goddess of wisdom. The second was for evolvers who fell on the battlefield. Every evolver who went to battle did so for humanity. Those killed by different species were typically resurrected by their own supreme beings. Of course, whether the first or the second, the resurrected evolvers had to bear part of the cost. But compared to living once more, this cost was naturally negligible. Do you wish for me to also resurrect your friend by any chance? Xia Qin's Supreme Being asked. Yes. Lin Yuan nodded. Fang Qing had previously lost his spirit will to Tuoba Ancient God due to the Ancient God's evolution path, threatening Lin Yuan with it. Lin Yuan naturally did not succumb to threats. He took action first, preemptively cursed killing that trace of Fang Qing's spirit will. This act might seem ruthless, but it was Fang Qing's best chance to survive. If Lin Yuan didn't act and let Tuoba Ancient God replace the experience, Fang Qing's memories would be contaminated, rendering him unable to be resurrected. However, given Fang Qing's talent and ability, he had not yet met the prerequisites for resurrection. Thus, he was not on the Supreme Being's resurrection list. necessitating Lin Yuan to personally plead for mercy. A small matter. Just send me the resurrection candidate's citizenship number later, Xia Qin Supreme Being said nonchalantly. For an ultimate being, what was resurrecting a 6th-rank evolver who had just entered the ranks? Especially since it was done along with a large batch of evolvers. Thanks, Supreme Being, Lin Yuan said with some solemnity. To the Supreme Being, what seemed a trivial favor was an unimaginable scenario for those below the ultimate. A year later, Xiaoyu Evolution Tower. Lin Yuan stood alongside numerous 10th-rank evolvers and 11th-rank evolvers. Every time a Supreme Being personally performed a resurrection, many higher-rank evolvers would watch nearby. Such an event that involved the workings of the space-time rule and the rule of time had considerable stimulating effects for any evolver who comprehended these rules. Galaxy Master, this must be your first time seeing a Supreme Being perform a resurrection, right? Nalan, the Vice Tower Master, asked Lin Yuan in a low voice, standing beside him. Yes, Lin Yuan nodded. Based on the rate of evolver casualties on the battlefield of human civilization, it typically took between 10,000 to 50,000 years to accumulate enough for the resurrection list. This meant the Supreme Being would perform a resurrection once every 10,000 to 50,000 years. Then you better watch closely, Nalan the Vice Tower Master quickly said. The Supreme Being going against the flow will cause some manifestation of the river of time. Watching carefully will benefit your comprehension of the rule of time. Understood, Lin Yuan immediately replied. In fact, not to mention a portion of the river of time becoming apparent, Lin Yuan had even seen the entire scope of the river of time before. Of course, he naturally would not share this with Nalan, the Vice Tower Master. Soon, under the gaze of all evolvers present, Xia Qin Supreme Being's figure silently appeared. Although not emitting any aura, just by standing there, Lin Yuan felt the cosmic rulings of the cosmic starry sky making way. The Supreme Being possessed an inner universe, containing many complete rules, his life essence transcending the main cosmic starry sky. The Supreme Being, Lin Yuan was witnessing a Supreme Being's true body within the cosmos for the first time. Previously, although Lin Yuan had been taken out of the river of time by the Supreme Being, at that time, he was merely a strand of spirit will. Its beginning, Nalan, the Vice Tower Master, suddenly said in a low voice. He had experienced many of the Supreme Being's resurrection scenes and knew much about it. As soon as Nalan, the Vice Tower Master's words fell, intense space-time fluctuations surged forward. A spectacular imaginary long river manifested in front of Xia Qin's Supreme Being. Lin Yuan also felt tremendous fluctuations of the rule of time, though not as intense as the time he had surveyed the entire site of the River of Time. CTH novel, F. IR. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But still far stronger than normal studies of the rule of time. Meanwhile, Xia Qin Supreme Being continued to traverse upstream along the River of Time, arriving at specific temporal nodes, and then extending his vast hands, scooping out amber-like figures from the ephemeral river. With each extension of his hands, thousands of amber-like figures were scooped out, while at the same time, the invisible backlash from the universe and the River of Time began to descend on Xia Qin's Supreme Being, but he blocked them all. Unless resurrecting a large number of 11th-rank powerhouses or particularly exceptional beings among the 11th-rank powerhouses, such backlash was unlikely to affect the Supreme Being. The River of Time. Besides the ultimate beings, all things, all spirits, exist within the River of Time. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Although life below 12th rank resided within the River of Time, depending on the strength and status of the life forms, their size within the River of Time also varied. When Lin Yuan initially comprehended the rule of time as a 9th rank evolver, his form within the River of Time was as minute as a meson. But now I have been at 10th rank for some time. I wonder to what extent my form in the River of Time has reached? With this thought, Lin Yuan began to feel the true River of Time and his own form deep within it. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 702 50 Years. Subscription requested. The river of time flowed magnificently. From the distant past, it flowed toward the endless future. In the river of time, 10th rank beings barely counted as small fish and shrimp. They were only slightly better than intermediates. Beings of the 11th rank could be considered big fish. Some especially unique existences within the 11th rank exhibited forms in the river of time that could be described as colossal, covering a substantial part of the riverbed. Am I also considered a big fish now? Lin Yuan examined himself, though he was only a 10th rank life. But his foundation was so robust that, reflected within the river of time, he was fully comparable to those 11th rank lives. I wonder what my size will be like in the river of time when I step into the 11th rank, or even the peak of the 11th rank? Lin Yuan silently pondered. The forms of all beings reflected in the river depended solely on the essence of life. They were unaffected by external forces. While Lin Yuan was feeling the intense fluctuations of the rule of time and examining himself, the Xiaqin Supreme Being had already fished out all the evolvers on the resurrection list. These evolvers, upon returning to the present spacetime, immediately started synchronizing their memories, stopping right before their deaths. The river of time was vast and endless. Even a mere tributary contained countless lives. Thus, for a supreme being to resurrect a certain strong being, it was essential to lock onto their life brand, which would act as a guiding mark. Without a life brand serving as a guiding mark, even a supreme being could not locate the life they wished to resurrect precisely within the vast river of time. Supreme beings may step out of the river of time, but that doesn't mean they control it. Where is this? Have I been resurrected? I remember fighting fiercely with a warrior from the prison tribe in the A076 battlefield and then suddenly dying. Countless evolvers who were fished out showed confusion in their eyes at first, followed by a swift realization. In human civilization, the fact that supreme beings had resurrection capabilities was no secret, especially among evolvers who were resurrected, who generally knew the possibility of their resurrection by a supreme being. Once the Xiaqin Supreme Being completed the resurrection tasks on the list, he glanced at the multitude of resurrected evolvers and then disappeared. Soon after, evolvers from the Xiaoyu Evolution Tower stepped forward to guide these recently resurrected evolvers. A significant portion of the evolvers had died tens of thousands of years ago. They were unfamiliar with the current era and needed time to acclimate. I've been resurrected too. The resurrected evolvers were divided into different circles based on their strength. 6th rank evolvers had their circle, 7th rank evolvers theirs, 8th rank evolvers theirs, and 9th rank evolvers theirs. As a freshly promoted 6th rank evolver, Fang Qing naturally found himself within the circle of 6th rank evolvers. Around him were other 6th rank evolvers who had been resurrected like him. I am an evolver of the ancient god evolution path. Logically, I shouldn't have been eligible for resurrection. Fang Qing pondered inwardly. Many of the other 6th rank evolvers around him were also familiar, all being geniuses who excelled across star domains. And himself? Although he had reached the 6th rank in a mere few hundred years, he had taken the ancient god's evolution path, which was essentially a shortcut. Compared to other normal evolution paths, the ancient god evolution path had no particular requirements for talent or understanding, but only required one to be sufficiently similar to the corresponding ancient god. Human civilization didn't allocate substantial resources to evolvers on the ancient god evolution path, let alone include them in the resurrection slots. Thus, Fang Qing was perplexed as to why he had been resurrected. At that moment, a figure suddenly appeared beside him. Star Lord. Fang Qing looked up, his spirit lifted, and respectfully spoke. Correct. How does it feel to be resurrected? Lin Yuan turned toward Fang Qing and asked. I don't know. I just felt like I was in a long dream. Fang Qing answered truthfully. Star Lord, was I resurrected because... Fang Qing couldn't help but ask. I pleaded with the Supreme Being to put you on the resurrection list. Lin Yuan replied. The resurrection list isn't supposed to be modifiable. Fang Qing was secretly shocked. As far as he knew, each life on the resurrection list had been repeatedly judged by 3 goddesses. Finally, they were handed over to the Supreme Being for resurrection. During this period, no one was able to alter the judgment of the three goddesses, which was considered an iron law of human civilization. But Lin Yuan had forcefully added him to the resurrection list? Fang Qing didn't know that Lin Yuan had added him to the resurrection list without going through the three goddesses at all. Instead, he went directly to Xia Qin, the Supreme Being who led the resurrection. For him, resurrecting an additional 6th rank evolver was nothing more than a mere thought. Couldn't be simpler. Thank you, Star-Lord. Fang Qing took a deep breath. Although he didn't know by what means Lin Yuan had managed to get him on the resurrection list, it must have come at a great price, and his life was essentially given by Lin Yuan. No need to thank me now. Next, I will take action to cleanse the original traces of your physical Bodis evolution path. Lin Yuan waved his hand. Although Fang Qing had been resurrected, he still cultivated the ancient god evolution path. As long as Tuoba ancient god wished, he could still take away Fang Qing's spirit will at any time. What Lin Yuan intended to do was to completely erase the numerous traces of Fang Qing's cultivation of the ancient god evolution path. Only by doing so could he completely sever the connection with Tuoba ancient god. Please proceed, Star-Lord, Fang Qing said, showing no resistance. In his last memory, the evolution path he was cultivating had suddenly erupted, dragging his spirit will into an unknown region. Looking back, it must have been the influence of the ancient god evolution path. Swish. Under Lin Yuan's intervention, the traces of ancient god evolutionary path cultivation on Fang Qing's body were quickly erased. This was also because Fang Qing had just entered the 6th rank, and Lin Yuan, with his powerful strength, comparable to the usual 11th rank evolvers, could easily dispel the influence of the ancient god evolution path. CTH Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. In the depths of the cosmic starry skies, Tuoba ancient god's thoughts stirred as he looked in the direction of human civilization. The friend of the galaxy master has been resurrected? Tuoba ancient god thought silently. Just a moment ago, Tuoba ancient god had sensed the vital essence of that friend of the galaxy master. However, almost immediately, that vital essence disappeared, likely due to the erasure of the ancient god evolutionary path he was cultivating. Tuoba ancient god was not surprised by this at all, and he had no intention of interfering either. One reason was that it was very difficult to take action again in such a short span of time. Moreover, the human civilization's supreme being who had just resurrected the friend of the galaxy master was probably nearby. Even if he wanted to act, he could not evade the gaze of a supreme being. Secondly, it was meaningless. After experiencing the galaxy master directly cursing the spirit will of his friend, Tuoba ancient god realized that the galaxy master would not face any threats. What could he do if he obtained Fang Qing's spirit will again? It would only cause the galaxy master to curse again. If the cursing failed, the galaxy master would not submit, only causing the enmity of human civilization towards him to deepen further. The insect race has invited me to battlefield as 098? Tuoba ancient god frowned slightly. As a unique life at the peak of the 11th tier, he often received invitations from alliances of peak clans to go and support them on a large alien battlefield. But generally, Tuoba ancient god would refuse such invitations. He was too lazy to meddle in the affairs between those peak clans. But now, having assured that he had offended the galaxy master, Tuoba ancient god began to prioritize his relations with other peak clans, especially the insect race, humanity's sworn enemy. Being an enemy to human civilization himself, if he did not accommodate the insect race, his options for retreat in the future would become very limited. Fine, I'll go this time. Tuoba ancient god had made up his mind. Milky Way main star. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Rule of death. Rule of destruction. Great destruction rule. Lin Yuan had fused the rule of death and the rule of destruction, two pillar-level rules, to form the Great Destruction Rule. The Great Destruction Rule, a purely offensive rule, was even purer than the Life and Death Samsara Rule. It was also one of the powerhouse pillar-level fusion rules that could surpass the Life and Death Samsara Rule in killing power. Since breaking through to the 10th tier, Lin Yuan, besides contemplating the life and death samsara rule, had also been contemplating the fusion of other pillar-level rules. Now, the Great Destruction Rule was the result. Great Destruction Rule. One of the 12 Great Gates on the Black Planet corresponds to the Great Destruction Rule. Moved by this thought, the Tai-Yin primordial spirit of Lin Yuan immediately departed and descended onto the Black Planet. Great Destruction. Lin Yuan stood in front of the gate that symbolized the Great Destruction Rule. He then channeled the essence of the Great Destruction Rule and pushed open the gate, walking inside. Suddenly, he arrived at an altar similar to the path of the life and death samsara rule. "It's you again?" A surge of black mist emerged, forming into a man in a black robe. He glanced at Lin Yuan and shook his head slightly. "Senior." Lin Yuan immediately greeted the man in the black robe. "When will the test commence?" Lin Yuan went straight to the point, not wanting to waste time. "Test." The man in the black robe fell silent. He could sense that Lin Yuan had probably just realized the Great Destruction Rule not long ago. But with the scene of the life and death samsara rule test before, the man in the black robe knew that the tests set by the Black Planet were basically non-existent in Lin Yuan's presence. "Forget it. You better go in." The man in the black robe didn't want to waste time either, raising his right hand and creating a black portal about 5 meters large. Instead of making Lin Yuan struggle again, shaking the interior of the Black Planet, it was better to let him go in quickly to meditate. Out of sight, out of mind. "Thank you, Senior." Lin Yuan saw this and did not decline. He immediately conjured an incarnation and stepped into the black portal. It was a space only a few miles in area. However, it was filled with an endless aura of the Great Destruction Rule. Great Destruction. Lin Yuan carefully observed the fluctuations of the Great Destruction Rule. Under the empowerments of his against heaven's understanding, terrifying inspirations and spiritual lights continuously surged up to him. Just like that. Lin Yuan's 2 great incarnations rapidly comprehended the life and death samsara rule and the Great Destruction Rule. His original body and the Taiyang Divine Spirit and Tai-Yin Primordial Spirit were contemplating and cultivating other rules, secret techniques, and so on. 50 years passed in the blink of an eye. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 703, the first type of second realm fusion rules. Please subscribe. Black Planet. Life and Death Samsara Rule Guiding Space. The cycle of life and death rules seemed endless, as if without a conclusion. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, immersed in the comprehension, in comparison to directly fathoming the cosmic life and death rules. At this moment, the life and death rules continually intertwined and fused before him, giving Lin Yuan the impression of watching a standard answer. Every moment, his understanding of the life and death samsara rule was improving. The life rule, filled with endless vitality, and the death rule, permeated with boundless death energy. Their fusion creates the life and death samsara rule, which essentially emphasizes the concept of reincarnation. Lin Yuan lifted his right hand, and the same life and death rules intertwined and fused in his palm. Therefore, the life and death samsara rule needs to construct a stable cycle model, so that the life and death rules can freely transform and interweave. Lin Yuan attempted to analyze the life and death samsara rule using the human civilization rule model approach. Even the most basic 5 elements rule is interpreted differently by thousands of people. The fusion rules are even more so, with the slightest discrepancy between the 2 rules involved causing divergence in the final formed fusion rule. A stable, perfect cycle model. In front of Lin Yuan, the life and death rules kept altering, eventually forming an infrastructure resembling a dark vortex, subtly starting to influence time and space. Unaffected, Lin Yuan continued to delve deeper into his comprehension. Your comprehension is extraordinary, observing the fusion of life and death, and deriving the first stable cycle model. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, a thunderous noise in his mind, as the life and death samsara rule advanced to the second realm. finally cultivated this fusion rule to the second realm. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. The comprehension of the fusion rules was much harder than imagined, especially the transition from the first to the second realm. Who knows how many 10th rank grade A individuals dragged on to the life limit of 10th rank life without crossing the threshold. The previous Nalan, the Black Star Lord, and Master Lustrous were all like this. Although the latter is said to have a chance to step into the 11th rank, it is just a possibility, and it's more likely they won't cross it. Even Lin Yuan, upon initially comprehending the life and death samsara rule and feeling the vast breadth of life and death, thought it would take him 500 to 600 years to cultivate this fusion rule to the second realm. But now, merely 50 years had passed, and he had already cultivated it to the second realm. Theoretically, Lin Yuan can now use the second realm's life and death samsara rule to break through to the tier 11 level. The life and death samsara rule, at the level of the second realm, combined with the foundation of my physical soul's inner world, spirit, will, mysterious yellow strike, among others. The ultimate power burst forth might reach the peak of the third realm, or even approach the power of the fourth realm's life and death samsara rule? Lin Yuan wondered to himself. When he initially grasped the life and death samsara rule, Lin Yuan, with the support of his many foundations, forcibly enhanced the samsara rule from the primary stage of the first realm to the second realm and even touched the threshold of the third realm. Now, with his understanding of the life and death samsara rule reaching the second realm, Lin Yuan felt his standard maximum attack should be close to the fourth realm. It should be known that the pillar-level fusion rules of the fourth realm, even among 11th rank life forms, are considered quite powerful. Theoretically, the fusion rules of the 7th and 8th realms are the domain of the supreme beings. Of course, the abilities of 11th rank life are far from limited to the fusion rules. However, this at least indicates that in one aspect, Lin Yuan has reached the normal standard of 11th rank life. He was no longer awkwardly at the threshold. The second realm's life and death samsara rule. Lin Yuan operated the already established cycle model, attempting to affect the surrounding balance of life and death. Boom! Within the guiding space, massive life and death rules continuously intertwined and coiled, and the shadow of a stable, colossal cycle model began to emerge. SAR the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. However, under the influence of Lin Yuan's constructed minor cycle model, a trivial part of the guiding space's major cycle model began to show faint turbulences. But they quickly returned to normal. Lin Yuan wasn't surprised by this. Inside the guiding space, the life and death samsara rule large model symbolizes the fourth realm's samsara rule. He was currently only at the second realm, so it was naturally difficult to cause an impact. His attempt was merely to gauge how far he was from the fourth realm. Outside the guiding space, the black-robed man's figure suddenly appeared. The balance of life and death within the space is being affected by an external force? The black-robed man's expression changed slightly. As the spirit of the altar and the spirit of the black planet, he was acutely aware of all the changes inside the guiding space. The balance of life and death within the life and death samsara rule guiding space can only be affected by those who also wield life and death samsara rules. Has that young fellow cultivated his life and death samsara rule to the second realm? The black-robed man immediately surmised the cause. Second realm? How long has it been? The black-robed man was dumbfounded. He didn't consider the second realm's life and death samsara rule that impressive, as it was just the threshold standard for 11th rank life. Yet what shocked the black-robed man was that 50 years ago, Lin Yuan's understanding of the life and death samsara rule was only at an introductory level. And now, only 50 years had passed and it had soared to the second realm? There has been no change in the flow of time. The black-robed man confirmed that Lin Yuan's comprehension time did not deviate from the main time flow. With only the guiding space, there couldn't possibly be such a significant effect. The black-robed man's expression grew serious. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 70 for the first type of second realm fusion rules. Subscribe please. _2 The essence of the life and death samsara rule within the guiding space manifested. making it slightly easier for the later generations to comprehend this type of fusion rules. Some bottlenecks that had trapped evolvers for 10,000 years could now be broken in 7 to 8,000 years. CTH Novelfire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It just became a bit easier. Not that the difficulty was directly reduced to 0. Even so, such guiding spaces made countless 10th rank lives fervent. At critical moments, being slightly easier constitutes a qualitative difference, not to mention a bit easier. For instance, discerning the pillar-level fusion rules of the second realm just a bit earlier could allow one to break through to 11th rank before their lifespan limit. This was not only the gap between 11th rank and 10th rank, but also the difference between life and death. However, at this moment, Lin Yuan's performance caused the man in the black robe a bit of confusion. Because over the past 50 years, Lin Yuan had steadily understood other pillar-level fusion rules, sending out incarnations to comprehend them within the guiding spaces of other doors. That is to say, over a span of 50 years, the time Lin Yuan actually spent on the life and death samsara rule was arguably only a portion. Do the lives outside nowadays all disregard reason to such an extent? The man in the black robe stayed silent for a long time, suddenly harboring this thought in his mind. His memory was significantly lacking, but he vaguely remembered that Lin Yuan's speed of comprehension was exaggeratedly terrifying. Milky Way main star. I can now attempt to strive for tier 11. Lin Yuan thought silently to himself. The biggest threshold from 10th rank to 11th rank is to elevate a pillar-level rule to the second realm. In addition, there are other requirements regarding the physical soul, inner world, and so on, but with Lin Yuan's accumulated foundation, naturally all are satisfied. That is to say, if Lin Yuan wished to strive for 11th rank, he could step into the 11th rank. From just entering 10th rank to stepping into 11th rank, it only took 50 years. If this were to be spread, it would definitely drive a group of 10th rank lives insane, and even 11th rank lives would hardly believe it. The leap from 10th rank to 11th rank is a cross of a great realm, a leap in the essence of life. There exist 10th rank lives who have stayed at this realm for millions of years or even tens of millions of years. And you used just 50 years? Still, there's no rush. I currently only occupy 6 out of the 12 guiding spaces in the depths of the 12 gates on the dark planet. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly, suppressing the urge to break through to 11th rank. The main reason is that there's no significant benefit. Currently, Lin Yuan is under no pressure, human civilization is exceedingly strong, and he can certainly break through to 11th rank a bit later. Because once he breaks through to 11th rank, he won't be able to enter the remaining 6 gates on the Dark Planet. The Dark Life Planet is a star of 10th rank heritage, allowing only 10th rank lives to enter. Neither 9th rank nor 11th rank may go in. Therefore, the most correct action for Lin Yuan is to discern all the fusion rules corresponding to the 12 gates on the Dark Planet and then send out incarnations into the guiding spaces. He should secure the slots for enlightenment first. As long as the incarnations occupy the guiding spaces, even if Lin Yuan breaks through to 11th rank, he won't be expelled. And at 10th rank, the more fusion rules one comprehends and the higher the level of cultivation of the fusion rules, the greater the benefit to oneself. From any perspective, there's no reason for Lin Yuan to rush into 11th rank desperately. Other peak 10th rank powerhouses, after elevating a pillar-level fusion rule to the second realm, would hesitate no more to strive for 11th rank. It's because their potential at 10th rank is already exhausted, and there's no point in delaying any longer. But Lin Yuan is different. He still has plenty of room for improvement. In 50 years, apart from the life and death samsara rule and the great destruction rule, I've also comprehended 4 other pillar-level rules, which correspond to the pillar-level rules of those 12 gates on the Dark Planet. Lin Yuan thought to himself, the pillar-level fusion rules are far more than just 12. However, knowing the effects of the guiding spaces behind the 12 gates of the Dark Planet, Lin Yuan naturally focused on those 12 pillar-level rules in his comprehension of the pillar-level fusion rules. The 6 pillar-level fusion rules I've discerned so far are the relatively simple ones, involving the fusion between 2 pillar rules. The remaining 6 pillar-level fusion rules are much more difficult, encompassing the fusion of 3, 4, or even 5 pillar rules. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. Even within pillar-level fusion rules, there naturally exists a hierarchy. Leaving aside the inherent attributes of the pillar rules themselves, just the number of pillar rules involved in the fusion also absolutely determines the height of the final fusion rule. Incorporating space, life, and destruction as 3 pillar-level fusion rules naturally makes it stronger than just space and life pillar-level fusion rules. Take it slowly. I have plenty of time, Lin Yuan thought to himself. 10th rank evolvers can easily live for hundreds of millions of years. He's hardly at that point yet. To fuse the time rule with the space rules, both being pillar-level fusion rules, Lin Yuan thought about his own attempts in the domain of spacetime over the years. Though the rule of time is also a pillar-level rule, it reigns supreme over other pillar-level rules, aiming to fuse spacetime. Up to now, Lin Yuan's progress in this area can be said to be slow. With the might of the rule of time, even fusing it with an ordinary rule would be much stronger than usual pillar-level fusion rules. Fusing spacetime and then elevating the spacetime rule to the 5th realm, that is one of the thresholds for 11th rank powerhouses to strive for the ultimate. Lin Yuan's thoughts spread out. At his level, he was privy to information that was once incredibly secret, including intelligence on the 11th rank strive for the ultimate. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 705, the first type of second realm fusion rules. Subscribe please. _3 The most crucial aspect of ultimate beings is to break free from the shackles of the river of time, which requires control over time and space. Of course, the more chaos rules one integrates, the greater the benefits, and understanding the legendary chaos rules could greatly benefit the pursuit of becoming an ultimate being. This chaos crystal. Lin Yuan's thoughts stirred slightly as he took out a gray crystal, in which numerous rules' essences were fused and scattered. If it were 10 times, 100 times larger, it might help me more than the black planet. The chaos crystal was too small, and the depth of the rules it contained was not profound. Of course, if the chaos crystal were 10 times, 100 times larger, Lin Yuan wouldn't have acquired it. In the 9 floors Dark Tower of Demon Jade Space, the chaos crystal was considered a 12-star rare treasure, and if it were 10 times, 100 times larger, it would definitely be categorized as a 12-star supreme treasure. Search *the novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Battlefield A098. The Taiyang divine spirit sat cross-legged beneath that eternal spatial rift that spanned thousands of miles. Lately, the insect race has been quite restless, inviting several Tier 11 special beings to join, probably to intensify the war. Though Lin Yuan had never left the area under that eternal spatial rift, his true body was very concerned about the intelligence on this large alien battlefield. After all, so far, he was quite satisfied with the rate at which he accumulated world-breaking origin force on this battlefield. If there were no other compelling reasons, Lin Yuan naturally would not be willing to leave. I now have nearly 500 strands of world-breaking origin force, most of which I've amassed here. Lin Yuan felt good. Nearly 500 strands of world-breaking origin force gave him a sense of wealth he had never felt before. I hope the increase in war intensity is not too great. Lin Yuan pondered for a while. The historical battles with the highest intensity of war had nearly devastated the large battlefields, with supreme beings themselves entering the fray. If it really came to that, Lin Yuan naturally would not have the time to peacefully accumulate world-breaking origin force here. Just 50 years ago, how did the supreme beings handle that aurora from beyond the universe? Lin Yuan suddenly thought. The power of that aurora reached an incredible level, effortlessly shattering a large alien battlefield. If it were not for the joint efforts of numerous ultimate beings, the impacts would have been even greater. The greater the power of the aurora, the more precious it proves to be, and for the supreme beings to intercept it was certainly a significant gain. Did the supreme beings create the eternal spatial rift and not repair it, perhaps for such a time? Lin Yuan looked contemplative. The eternal spatial rift contained extreme destructive power, which the main universe couldn't heal by its own regeneration capabilities. But if the supreme beings were willing, they could actively eradicate the destructive power within the eternal spatial rift. Once the power of destruction was gone, with the powerful healing abilities of the main universe, the rift could easily be repaired. Milky Way main star. After resting for a while, Lin Yuan resumed his cultivation. Great Destruction Rule. Wisps of destructive essence appeared in front of Lin Yuan, and in terms of pure killing power, the Great Destruction Rule surpassed even the Life and Death Samsara Rule. Of the 6 pillar-level fusion rules Lin Yuan currently controlled, the Life and Death Samsara Rule was the highest realm, having reached the 2nd realm. The Great Destruction Rule was next, only a hair away from the 2nd realm. Lin Yuan estimated that, whether sooner in a few days or later in a few months, he could elevate this fusion rule to the 2nd realm. At that time, Lin Yuan would have 2 fusion rules at the 2nd realm, which would significantly enhance his combat power. Great Destruction Rule. In the Great Destruction Rule guiding space of the Black Planet, Lin Yuan immersed himself in understanding the essence of the Great Destruction Rule. Simultaneously, while contemplating the Great Destruction Rule, Lin Yuan was also studying other fusion rules, borrowing insights from each, stimulating mutual understanding. Deep within the cosmic starry sky, in a twisted area of space-time, more than a dozen majestic figures stood around, and in their center, 100-mile-long, dazzling aurora quietly floated. This aurora, a rare 12-rank material, can be used as the main ingredient to forge an ultimate weapon. How shall we divide it now? A figure with a single horn on his forehead spoke. All present were supreme beings. 50 years ago, more than 10 supreme beings joined forces to intercept that aurora from beyond the universe. After 50 years of suppression, they finally removed the alien essence from the aurora. And now it was time to divide this aurora. Actually, each supreme being at the scene wanted to monopolize this aurora. But doing so would inevitably provoke the other supreme beings to act. Under such circumstances, the more than 10 supreme beings who were wary of each other eventually proposed the relatively peaceful idea of dividing the aurora. There was no choice. At the level of supreme beings, there was no need to fight to the death over an external object. This aurora was indeed precious, classified as a supreme item among 12-rank materials, but before it was crafted into an ultimate weapon, it hardly enhanced the combat power of the supreme being's level. Battlefield S076 is one of the main battlefields of our human civilization, and it was pierced by this aurora, causing severe casualties among our evolvers. So, among the dozen evolvers, human civilization's ancient power evolver spoke authoritatively. We humans require 1/5 of this aurora. 1/5. The other supreme beings looked displeased. Among the more than 10 supreme beings, 1/10 each wasn't enough, yet you take 1/5? Ancient power? Isn't that too much? The first speaker, the single-horned supreme being, spoke. Too much. How do you account for the heavy losses suffered by our young humans? They are the elite of our human civilization, our future. The eyes of the ancient power supreme being narrowed. Without 1/5, I cannot persuade my people. No sooner had he finished speaking than another 8 supreme-level presences forcefully broke through the spatial barriers and aggressively entered the scene. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 706, That White Paper. Please subscribe. How is it? Our human civilization only wants 1/5 of the aurora. That's not excessive. The ancient power supreme being spoke in a calm tone. Yet within this twisted spacetime, the breaths of 8 other supreme beings were unmistakably unmasked. The other 10 or more supreme beings glanced at each other. There were also ultimate beings standing behind them, but the combat power of the 9 supreme beings of human civilization was indeed difficult to deal with. Very well. The one-horned supreme being eventually compromised. There was no choice. If they didn't first satiate human civilization, the subsequent division would be impossible to complete. Search. The ancient power supreme being raised his hand and took 1/5 of the aurora. He then vanished from this spacetime. As soon as the ancient power supreme being left, the breaths of the 8 human civilization supreme beings also rapidly receded. My Tianyu clan has also suffered heavy losses. Began the clan Tianyu progenitor slowly, wanting to replicate the recent actions of human civilization and take a portion of the Aurora first. Human civilization territory. The 9 supreme beings were rapidly exchanging thoughts through their spirit wills. Within this Aurora segment, there is a profound presence of the causal curse-killing power. Before it's refined into the ultimate weapon, it could be utilized to let those talented evolvers comprehend it for a while. Indeed, the causal rules, though not pillar-level rules, are the most mysterious and special. The more one comprehends the causal rules, the better, with no downsides. Then I will refine this segment of Aurora first. The 9 supreme beings quickly determined the use for the Aurora. It would be refined into the ultimate weapon. But before refining, they could allow some talented successors of human civilization to closely sense the essence of the Aurora. Xia Qin Supreme Being's personal world. Xia Qin Supreme Being sat high on the throne, seemingly deep in thought. Not much later, the figure of Lin Yuan appeared. Supreme Being, Lin Yuan bowed slightly. The more he cultivated, the more Lin Yuan felt the greatness of the Supreme Beings. This greatness wasn't limited to strength. Their life essence, their heights, were beyond what any life within the river of time could look up to. Xia Qin Supreme Being looked at Lin Yuan and a smile appeared on his face. How has your cultivation been lately? Have you encountered any bottlenecks? Xia Qin Supreme Being was very concerned about Lin Yuan, as in his eyes, Lin Yuan was the evolver most likely to reach the ultimate in this era of human civilization. If human civilization could birth the 10th Supreme Being, the pressure they bore would naturally lessen considerably. It's going well. Lin Yuan nodded. More than just well. 50 years ago, Lin Yuan had only comprehended 2 pillar-level fusion rules. But now, Lin Yuan mastered up to 6 pillar-level fusion rules, among which the life and death samsara rule had even reached the 2nd realm, and the great destruction rule was also nearing the 2nd realm. Achievements unattainable by typical 10th rank evolvers over millions of years, Lin Yuan had achieved in just 50 years. Not to mention, beyond the fusion rules, Lin Yuan had made significant progress on space rules, the rule of time, and the profound yellow lineage's 3 Tao-protecting secret techniques. Good to hear. Xia Qin Supreme Being did not probe further. The path of evolution is a very private matter. With Lin Yuan's talents and aptitudes, he had already forged his own path. If he intervened forcefully, it wouldn't be beneficial. What Xia Qin Supreme Being could do now was to resolve all of Lin Yuan's potential worries as much as possible. In some time, there will be an opportunity to comprehend that segment of Aurora essence. I will let you go, Xia Qin Supreme Being said directly. The essence of the Aurora? Is it the Aurora from the destruction of the large alien battlefield marked A076? Lin Yuan's eyes brightened, and he immediately asked. Exactly. Xia Qin Supreme Being nodded. There was no need to keep secrets about this matter. After negotiations with those different species Supreme Beings, our human civilization finally got 1/5 of the entire Aurora. Xia Qin Supreme Being briefly explained. Negotiations. 1/5. Lin Yuan blinked. Among peak clans, power was always supreme. Negotiations? What negotiation? And 1/5? According to Lin Yuan's knowledge, there were more than 10 supreme beings involved in blocking the Aurora initially. That doesn't yet count those who later wished to share in the spoils. Directly taking 1/5 for human civilization was utterly domineering. Supreme Being, where did this Aurora come from? Lin Yuan asked. He knew that the Aurora originated from beyond the eternal spatial rift, that is, within the chaos void. But exactly where, and why such an entity as the Aurora would form, Lin Yuan was not very clear. This Aurora, it likely comes from the Taiyuan relic. Xia Qin Supreme Being pondered for a moment before speaking. The Taiyuan relic? Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. Yes, currently within the detected scope of the chaos void. The Taiyuan relic is ranked among the 9 most dangerous places. Xia Qin Supreme Being said. Lin Yuan listened obediently. Sar the novel F. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The matters Xia Qin Supreme Being spoke of, clearly, were no longer confined to within the universe. Is the Taiyuan relic very dangerous? Lin Yuan noticed that the Xia Qin Supreme Being described the Taiyuan relic as a perilous place. Naturally, it's extremely dangerous. The Xia Qin Supreme Being nodded. Even for a 12th rank life, a moment of carelessness can lead to complete ruin within the Taiyuan relic. The Xia Qin Supreme Being explained. Moreover, the dangers of the Taiyuan relic are not limited to within the relic itself, but occasionally also involve the forbidden items that erupt from its depths. These forbidden items vary in influence, some strong and some weak, immeasurable in their impact. In the universe, a 12th rank life is invincible, at most severely wounded, the Xia Qin Supreme Being said with a sigh. But outside the universe, in the chaos void, even a 12th rank life can face death. Lin Yuan nodded. A couple of 100 years ago, that corpse of a supreme being that drifted in from beyond the universe made Lin Yuan realize that even supreme beings can die. A supreme being merely steps out of the river of time and is not bound by lifespan, but that does not mean they cannot die. Of course, the chaos void is dangerous, but it also holds opportunities. We, as 12th rank, wish to evolve further to transform into a perfect time being. Such a chance exists only in the chaos void, albeit very slight. The Xia Qin Supreme Being continued. Perfect time being? Lin Yuan's thoughts expanded. A 9th rank life is also known as a multispatial life. From a 9th to 11th rank, every step involves the evolution of multispatial life towards temporal life, until reaching the 12th rank. A 12th rank ultimate is already barely considered a half-formed temporal life. They occupy the past and present, meandering on the shores of the river of time. Yet, even ultimate existences still aspire, and that is to transform into a perfect temporal life. Simply put, the goal of a 12th rank ultimate is to attempt to occupy the future. Only a life that occupies the past, present, and future simultaneously qualifies as a perfect time being. It is said that a perfect time being can see the infinite future at a glance and return to the ancient past. Theoretically, as long as a perfect time being so wishes, they could alter the course of history and shape the future into the vision they desire. However, thus far, Lin Yuan has not heard of any existing perfect time being. Even Shen Huang and the Moyu Tower Master do not qualify as perfect time beings. They are merely significantly stronger than most 12th rank ultimates. The chaos void holds great opportunities, but sadly, we, creatures of the universe, even at 12th rank, cannot leave. The Xia Qin Supreme Being said, seemingly recalling something, and sighed. Unable to leave? Lin Yuan looked puzzled. The eternal spatial rift is right there. Why can't they leave? The universe has a will, and beings like us at the 12th rank, who have absorbed so much cosmic energy, would inevitably face the universe's will, fighting fiercely to prevent us from escaping to the chaos void, once we break free from the universe. The Xia Qin Supreme Being explained. I see. Lin Yuan suddenly understood. Thus, if we wish to venture into the chaos void, we can only wait until this cosmic era ends and everything is destroyed. Only then might there be a chance. The Xia Qin Supreme Being's voice wavered subtly. Obviously, the matter was not as simple as he had stated. The end of the cosmic era, the collapse of everything, supreme beings only survive if they endure past it, fully freeing themselves from cosmic restrictions. If they do not endure, they naturally perish with the cosmos. However, after the destruction of the universe, there will be rebirth, a capability supreme beings do not possess. A supreme being, along with the universe, ends, and all their essence transforms into the most chaotic energy to support the birth of a new cosmic era. Typically, among 10 12th rank ultimates, at most only half can survive the end of a cosmic epoch. Only those 12th rank ultimates who endure the end of a cosmic epoch have the confidence to venture into the chaos void. Upon leaving Xia Qin Supreme Being's personal world, Lin Yuan's mind slightly fluctuated. This time, from the mouth of Xia Qin Supreme Being, he learned much higher-level information, such as the 9 dangerous places of the chaos void, and the restrictions on supreme beings within the universe. All this is still too far from me. Lin Yuan pondered for a while, then stopped thinking about it. He's currently only 10th rank, far from reaching 12th rank. And the end of the cosmic epic? According to Xia Qin's Supreme Being's estimation, from the birth of the universe to now, only 1/10 of a cosmic epic has passed. That means, until the end of the cosmic epic, there are still 9/10 of a cosmic epic remaining, which in years is countless quintillions. Lin Yuan, thus far, has spent less than 200 years in the main universe. Meanwhile, outside the universe where Lin Yuan resided, amidst the grayish chaos void, a piece of white paper was rapidly moving in a certain direction. If one observed carefully, they would realize that this white paper seemed not to possess the concept of thickness, having only length and width. Within the white paper, fog swirled, subtly encompassing a vast world. This entire piece of white paper, akin to a scroll of painting, was graceful yet mysterious. Yet, what was strange, wherever the white paper passed, the space of the chaos void subtly began to collapse, rapidly losing the concept of spatial thickness, and even time became abnormally narrow, as if it suddenly reduced from 3 dimensions to 2. Swoosh! In a blink of an eye, that white paper disappeared into the dense chaotic currents. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 707 Dimensionality Reduction. Please subscribe. Great Destruction Rules Second Realm. Achieved. Shortly after parting with the Xia Qin Supreme Being, Lin Yuan had comprehended the Great Destruction Rule to the Second Realm. Any 10th rank grade A powerhouse would be extremely thrilled once they realized a pillar grade fusion rules dual realm, wouldn't they? This meant that they could step into Tier 11. In the 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky, 11th rank life was the strongest below Supreme Beings. The strongest here refers to all aspects, not merely strength. For instance, mastering the rule of time. It's too tall in order for 10th rank life to fully understand the rule of time. It's an occurrence that hasn't happened too many times since the universe began. But for 11th rank life wanting to master the rule of time, although still very difficult, it is at least much easier than for 10th rank life. Once the rule of time is mastered, it means a significant extension of lifespan. By slowing down their own passage of time, 1 year for an 11th rank life could equal thousands or even tens of thousands of years for a 10th rank life. However, none of this had much significance for Lin Yuan. Rule of time? Lin Yuan had already mastered it at the 9th rank. And even without mastering it, Lin Yuan didn't care much about his own lifespan. How old was he now? The longevity that those ancient 11th rank lives yearned for, Lin Yuan now had in abundance. As for cultivating the Great Destruction Rule to the Second Realm, in truth, gaining an additional Second Realm fusion rule did not enhance Lin Yuan's strength as much as one might imagine. After all, Lin Yuan's current benchmark was against 11th rank powerhouses. With his current foundation and techniques, even without realizing any dual realm fusion rules, he could still be considered invincible at the 10th rank. And within the 11th rank, realizing 1 pillar grade fusion rules dual realm was just a slight breakthrough. Next, the remaining 4 pillar grade fusion rules will also be cultivated to the Second Realm. Lin Yuan thought to himself. And the Third Realm? Lin Yuan pondered. The most hopeful rule for advancing to the Third Realm was the Life and Death Samsara rule. However, even with the Black Planet's guiding space to study, Lin Yuan estimated that reaching the Third Realm would take him between 100 to 200 years. As for the Fourth Realm? Not yet at the Third Realm. Lin Yuan didn't know the extent to which he would have to go to reach the Fourth Realm, but it would not take more than 500 years at most. To cultivate from the First Realm to the Fourth Realm, spending a little over 700 years is still acceptable, Lin Yuan mused, nodding slightly to himself. 700 years is a blink of an eye to a 10th rank evolver, but Lin Yuan could use that time to cultivate a pillar grade fusion rule to the Fourth Realm. Lin Yuan was quite satisfied with that. Moreover, in those 700 years, Lin Yuan would have comprehended not just 1 but 6 pillar grade fusion rules. On top of that, new pillar grade fusion rules might be uncovered at any time, in addition to continual contemplation on the rules of time and space, among other things. Where do I stand in the hierarchy of 11th rank life with my current strength? Lin Yuan suddenly wondered. So far, the Starry Sky races had divided 11th rank life into 6 tiers. The first tier of 11th rank life had just entered tier 11. They had not yet mastered the rule of time. The second tier was 11th rank life that had mastered the rule of time. The third tier was those who had cultivated a certain pillar grade rule to the 5th realm. The fourth tier was those who had fused time and space to understand the space-time rule. The 5th tier was those who had elevated the space-time rule to the 5th realm. The 6th tier represented those who had reached the pinnacle in all aspects and could attempt the ultimate breakthrough at any time. Theoretically, an 11th rank life at the 5th tier has the capability to strive for the ultimate, but the chances are slim, which is why there's a 6th tier. Even for 11th rank life at the 6th tier, the probability of successfully making the ultimate breakthrough is very low. To become ultimate, to break free from the shackles of the river of time, to have infinite longevity, involves many aspects. Throughout history, many peak 11th rank lives favored by all sides ultimately failed in their attempt and vanished from existence. Therefore, the various clans came to a conclusion. Striving for the ultimate requires a certain luck. Without luck, no amount of preparation or sufficient foundation will help. Roughly the second tier, Lin Yuan compared and concluded, positioning his current strength at the second tier within tier 11. Sir, the novel_fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. An 11th rank life at the third tier would have already cultivated a certain pillar grade fusion rule to the 5th realm, a level Lin Yuan couldn't reach in the short term. If I could cultivate all 12 pillar grade fusion rules within the Black Planet to the 4th realm, I should be comparable to an 11th rank life at the third tier. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Third tier 11th rank life requires at least 1 pillar grade fusion rule cultivated to the 5th realm. But 12 4th realm pillar grade fusion rules would incite a qualitative change from the quantitative build-up, especially considering that the next 6 pillar grade fusion rules are not your average pillar grade. They should be comparable to 1 5th realm pillar grade fusion rule. Of course, the gap between 10th rank life and 11th rank life is far more than just the comprehension of fusion rules. There are many other differences, such as the physical soul, spirit, will, inner world, and so on. Normally, 11th rank life would have one more infusion of the cosmic origin source than 10th rank life, a gap as wide as a chasm. But Lin Yuan's reception of the chaos void origin infusion greatly bridged this gap, allowing him the possibility to be comparable to 11th rank life. Virtual world. Lin Yuan was chatting leisurely with Nalan, the Vice Tower Master. Battlefield A098 is expected to see a marked increase in the intensity of the war. The Goddess of Freedom has already started the summoning, asking me to send an avatar there. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 708 Dimensionality Reduction. Subscribe please. _2 Nailinside. As an 11th rank evolver, each one of them was crucial even on a large alien battlefield, where an 11th rank powerhouse was a suppressing force. As for a supreme being, unless they were truly provoked to wrath and other factors emerged, a supreme being would not enter the fray. Below the supreme beings, 11th rank was the strongest. Even for an evolver like Nalan who had just entered the 11th rank, they could influence the outcome of widespread regional wars. I've heard about this too, Lin Yuan nodded. In fact, Battlefield A098 was the very large alien battlefield where his Taiyang divine spirit resided. Some time ago, Lin Yuan had faintly sensed a change in the situation at the large alien battlefield and realized that a more intense war might be imminent. As long as the intensity of the war doesn't reach the level where a supreme being needs to step in, it shouldn't affect me much. On Battlefield A098, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged beneath an eternal spatial rift, using his understanding of space and time to hide, making it difficult for other 10th and 11th rank powerhouses to discover him. Milky Way main star. Lin Yuan's figure sat in the deeper spatial layers. Awe-inspiring vital energy circulated, and within 100 miles around him, a profound yellow-colored force field faintly spread. One of the three great defensive secret techniques of the profound yellow lineage, the Shenhuang physique. No matter the heritage, the most crucial aspect was surely survival. Only by living could there be hope. This was the case with the profound yellow lineage, where survival was ensured with the Shenhuang physique and spatial temporal steps. The third layer? Lin Yuan opened his eyes and sighed softly. The Shenhuang physique is divided into 4 layers, with the 4th layer being the ultimate realm. A 12th rank life with a perfected Shenhuang physique was said to be unbreakable and immortal, easily able to withstand the devastations at the end of a cosmic epoch. However, as he continued to practice, Lin Yuan became increasingly aware of the difficulty of this secret technique. The resources needed for cultivating the Shenhuang physique were indeed vast. Initially, Lin Yuan thought that with the abundant Shenhuang crystals inside the Shenhuang secret realm, along with the corpses and treasures of nearly 10,000 ninth-rank alien races, he could cultivate this technique to a deeper level. This was also what Lin Yuan deduced from the many pieces of information about this secret technique. But the result was that Lin Yuan had overlooked a crucial factor. That being, he was not like a normal 10th rank life. If it were an ordinary 10th rank life with the vast resources of the secret realm, their cultivation needs could naturally be met. But Lin Yuan, before transcending to the 10th rank, his physical body was already hundreds of times stronger than others of his tier. After entering the 10th tier, having been infused with the Chaos Void origin, the disparity had reached a scale magnified by tens of thousands. And this was just the physical body. There were also the worlds inside his soul bodies. A normal powerhouse needs one set of resources to elevate their Shenhuang physique to the next layer. Lin Yuan needed hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of sets of resources. Though ultimately satisfied with his enhancements, the resources required were indeed numerous. And this was just Lin Yuan's original true body. His 2 primordial spirits were still on the sidelines. Since stepping into the 10th rank and discovering a surge in his resource needs, Lin Yuan had decisively halted his 2 primordial spirits from cultivating the Shenhuang physique secret technique. This kind of defensive secret technique should definitely be prioritized by the original body. As for the 2 primordial spirits, they had to be slightly wronged for the time being. On battlefield A098, Lin Yuan still sat beneath the eternal spatial rift, cultivating. In recent months, at least 100 more 11th rank powerhouses have appeared on the battlefield. Lin Yuan glanced at the distant region in between his cultivation sessions. The total visible 11th rank evolvers of the entire human civilization also didn't exceed 1,000. Now, just on one battlefield there were over 100 11th rank, and that didn't include those 11th rank powerhouses who were originally stationed there, and those who secretly came over, evading Lin Yuan's perception. Tuoba Ancient God. Lin Yuan's eyes were deep, having heard about Tuoba Ancient God on this battlefield. Tuoba Ancient God was invited by the insect race to bolster their forces. Tuoba Ancient God was also the ancient god corresponding to the evolution path initially cultivated by Feng Qing. Sar the novel F. Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Because of an issue involving Feng Qing, Lin Yuan had quite a grievance with this ancient god. Since Lin Yuan became an evolver, Tuoba Ancient God was the first lifeform bold enough to openly extort him. According to the information Lin Yuan obtained about Tuoba Ancient God, this ancient god was a powerful 11th rank life of the 5th tier, ranking among the top ancient gods, audacious enough to disregard Xizhong Ancient God and even aiming to reach the ultimate within 1,000,000 years. Xizhong Ancient God once stated that Tuoba Ancient God only had a lifespan of 100 million years. But an 11th rank live's 100 million years lifespan isn't measured by the flow of time in the main world. With Tuoba Ancient God's manipulation of the flow of time, by the time of the main world's 100 billion years, he might still be alive. However, the fact that Tuoba Ancient God had the ambition to strive for the ultimate indicated that he might not continue to delay his time and barely cling to life. Indeed, many ancient special beings born at the creation of the universe had already lived long enough. Slowing down their own time flow rate to achieve an alternative form of immortality held little significance. Even if they survived era after era, could that make them achieve the ultimate? Yet, every 11th rank lives viewpoint differed. Some 11th rank lives believed that in the distant future, there lay the hope of becoming the ultimate, while others thought that since they must die sooner or later, they might as well strive for the ultimate as soon as possible. Of course, those with the latter belief tend to be solitary and special beings. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 709 Dimensionality Reduction. Please subscribe. _3 If there are ties of kinship, it is definitely best to live as long as possible to protect the clan for a longer time. Tuoba, ancient god, with no relatives or friends, is a unique being in the cosmic starry skies, which is why he dared to make such a bold request to Lin Yuan. My current strength is far from being a match for Tuoba, ancient god, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Tuoba, ancient god, was of the 5th tier of 11th rank, while Lin Yuan was currently only comparable to a 2nd tier 11th rank, with no comparability in strength between them. The 6 tiers of 11th rank life each have a massive gap in strength. Give me another 1,000 years. Lin Yuan bore a killing intent towards Tuoba, ancient god, but also knew it was not realistic. Just based on his rate of growth, he estimated it would be possible in another 1,000 or 2,000 years. Of course, that was just a possibility. With the strength of Tuoba, ancient god, Lin Yuan estimated he would have to become a supreme being to be assured of killing the other. Xia Yu Evolution Tower. Lin Yuan Taiyin Primordial Spirit personally rushed over. At the same time, other Tier 10 Grade A evolvers arrived. You have only 100 years. In 100 years, try to comprehend this segment of Aurora as much as possible. The figure of Xia Qin's Supreme Being appeared, and without any unnecessary words, a segment of colorful, splendid aurora floated in the air. According to the agreement with the other 8 supreme beings of human civilization, this aurora would stay in each evolution tower for 100 years. After 900 years, it would be the main ingredient in forging an ultimate weapon. Search * the novel Fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. At that time, the potency of the aurora would be condensed, and it would be difficult to comprehend any further. Is this the cosmic aurora that easily shattered a large alien battlefield? Lin Yuan's gaze fell on the aurora for the first time. Your perception defies the heavens. Observing the unknown aurora, your understanding of the rules of light deepens. Your perception defies the heavens. Observing the unknown aurora, your understanding of the rules of cause and effect deepens. Your perception defies the heavens. Observing the unknown aurora, your understanding of space rules deepens. It was only a single breath. Lin Yuan had already comprehended dozens of rule fluctuations from this segment of aurora, among which the rules of light and cause and effect were the most intense. Rules of light. Lin Yuan vaguely felt that the rules of light within the aurora were not normal. They must have fused with other rules, otherwise they could not be this powerful. And the rules of cause and effect. These rules are easy to start with but extremely hard to master in depth, and Lin Yuan's understanding of them was not very high due to his lack of full concentration. The remaining 6 pillar-level rules on the Black Planet, 2 of which involve the rules of cause and effect. Perhaps with the help of this aurora, I could meet the requirements in the understanding of the rules of cause and effect. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Though the rules of cause and effect are not pillar-level fusion rules, they are nonetheless more important than most, and their comprehension difficulty exceeds most pillar rules. And pillar-level fusion rules that encompass the rules of cause and effect are extremely peculiar and unpredictable. Battlefield A098 of different races. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Above his head was an eternal spatial rift spanning 1,000 miles, emitting slow spatial fluctuations. It was at this moment, Lin Yuan's expression shifted subtly. This feeling. Lin Yuan suddenly looked up, gazing at the eternal spatial rift above his head. In a vague sense, he felt that an unknown change had occurred within this eternal spatial rift. The next moment, under Lin Yuan's watchful eyes, a piece of white paper squeezed in. The white paper had only length and width, with no concept of thickness, giving a very contradictory impression. White paper. Lin Yuan stared intently at the piece of white paper, which made his scalp tingle somewhat. Rustle, rustle. After the white paper squeezed into the universe, it instantly penetrated the entire large alien battlefield. However, the large alien battlefield did not shatter. Instead, some sort of dimensional collapse occurred, losing the concept of spatial volume. In just an instant, the large alien battlefield, nearly 1,000 light-years across, was compressed into a painting scroll, then assimilated into the white paper. Buzz. The white paper continued to fly towards the cosmic starry sky. Wherever it went, all matter was compressed, including space itself, forming painting scrolls that fused into the white paper. What is this? A towering figure staggered back a few steps, staring incredulously at the rapidly receding white paper. He was a 12th rank ultimate. A moment of inattention had also sucked him into the white paper, but as a being who stepped out of the river of time, the white paper's dimensional reduction ability couldn't completely suppress him, and that was how he escaped. Only he had escaped, but countless lives on battlefield as 098, including those 11th rank powerhouses, had all fallen into the white paper. Even space itself swiftly collapsed as if a part of it was cut out of thin air. The Taiyuan relic. This direction is towards the Taiyuan relic. One supreme being after another appeared, all staring solemnly at the departing white paper. What exactly has happened to the Taiyuan relic? The single-horned supreme being had a grave expression. 50 or 60 years ago, the cosmic aurora also came from the Taiyuan relic. Now, this eerie white paper had likewise come from the direction of the Taiyuan relic. This made them speculate whether the Taiyuan relic had undergone some unpredictable change. Gentlemen, let's not worry about the Taiyuan relic for now. If we let that white paper continue to fly, 1/10,000th of our universe will be completely dimensionally reduced. One supreme being spoke up. Although the white paper's dimensional reduction effect was ineffective against supreme beings, the numerous lives within their races were all within the scope of the reduction. Let's join forces. Together, we can hold that white paper in place. Right? We can't let it keep flying around recklessly. The supreme beings quickly decided and began to take action, slowly restricting the white paper's movement with their spacetime might. Soon, the flight speed of the white paper slowed down. Finally, it stopped beneath a certain expanse of the starry sky. The white paper slowly unfolded, revealing a painting scroll exuding a mysterious aura before the supreme beings. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 710 Two-Dimensional World. Subscribe please. In a daze, Lin Yuan finally came to his senses. Where is this? Lin Yuan looked around, realizing he was lying in a narrow room. Me? Lin Yuan rubbed his brow. Just before losing consciousness, he had seen a white paper. A white paper that had squeezed in from the eternal spatial rift. Then afterwards, Lin Yuan felt a violent change in spacetime, as if some pivot was collapsing. What exactly happened? Lin Yuan re-established contact with his true body, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Not right. Lin Yuan's expression suddenly turned grave. Where are the spatial layers? And the fluctuations of many rules? Lin Yuan couldn't believe that. At this moment, he couldn't feel any rule fluctuations at all. And the spatial layers? He couldn't detect even a trace of the space rules, nor any spatial layers. It was as if this world had only a very thin layer of space. But how could that be possible? If there were no spatial layers, it meant the world was incomplete. How could an incomplete world possibly accommodate the arrival of a 10th rank life like him? Even if it could barely contain him with just a thought, he should be able to tear everything apart. Yet now, Lin Yuan felt no such ability. Milky Way main star. Lin Yuan's frown deepened. The fluctuations from many spaces are still there. The spatial layers are still there. Lin Yuan doubted internally, Why couldn't he feel any fluctuations of the space rules where the Taiyang Divine Spirit was? Search * the novel Fire, any *t website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. You must know, time and space are the basic pillars of the spatial world. Other rule fluctuations can be blocked or suppressed. But time and space cannot be suppressed. Just like in the space inside the black planet, one can only feel the corresponding fusion rules fluctuations, but aside from that, faint space fluctuations are still perceivable. Supreme Being. Lin Yuan immediately contacted the Supreme Being. You and all the lives on the battlefield have fallen into that white paper, Xiaqin Supreme Being said directly upon seeing Lin Yuan. Everything near that white paper will downgrade itself. Only 12th rank life can resist it, Xiaqin Supreme Being said. But don't worry, I am trying to see if I can fish you out. Thank you, Supreme Being. Lin Yuan roughly figured out the situation of the Taiyang Divine Spirit. Inside the white paper scroll, Lin Yuan's thoughts spread. I am now inside that white paper, forcibly downgraded. No wonder I can't feel any rule fluctuations. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Even my inner world has been directly compressed into a plane. Lin Yuan examined himself, noticing that his inner world had completely vanished, leaving behind only a slight trace. My physical body, my power, my soul, all have been forcibly reduced to a very low level. Lin Yuan sensed carefully, his expression grave. However, the door to the myriad realms is still there. Lin Yuan's consciousness sank into his mind, looking at the still majestic and imposing door to the myriad realms. Even in this two-dimensional world inside the white paper, the door to the myriad realms still exuded a supreme presence, unaffected by anything. A two-dimensional world? This was the first time Lin Yuan had encountered such a world. In the past, through the 9 transits via the door to the myriad realms, although all were to other dimensions, the levels of the dimensions he transited to were all on the same level as the main universe. As for lower dimensions, Lin Yuan had not encountered them. That white paper can automatically cause everything nearby to downgrade to two-dimensional. The chaos void is indeed wonderful, possessing even such strange objects. Lin Yuan was not panicked, instead awaiting the Supreme Being's response. In fact, if he hadn't invested a large amount of resources on this Taiyang Divine Spirit, Lin Yuan would now be inclined to directly annihilate this avatar and leave. But being fished out by the Supreme Being would naturally be a better outcome. Milky Way main star. Lin Yuan waited for a moment. He met with Xiaqin Supreme Being again. Compared to the initial calmness, Xiaqin Supreme Being now appeared solemn. Things are a bit troublesome. Xiaqin Supreme Being looked at Lin Yuan and spoke gravely. That white paper is of too high level. We can't refine or interfere with it. The implication was that they couldn't fish Lin Yuan out. Then I will just abandon that avatar. Lin Yuan immediately spoke. Although he was quite curious about the two-dimensional world inside that white paper, without knowing specific details, Lin Yuan naturally didn't dare to stay there for long. What if he encountered the causal curse-killing force of the cosmic aurora? Wouldn't that be even more troublesome? Although the cosmic aurora could only curse-kill life below 10th rank, and Lin Yuan had left a lot of essence blood in the Shenhuang Secret Realm, by leveraging the Shenhuang Secret Realm's ability to isolate causality, even a Supreme Being's curse kill could be easily resisted. But who could clarify the matters of the Chaos Void? So it was better to leave sooner rather than later. A wise man does not stand under a dangerous wall. Don't do that, Xiaqin Supreme Being shook his head. Different species have already tried that, exploding avatars that fell into the white paper. But the result? The Supreme Being paused for a while and continued. We found those exploded avatars can never be restored. Eternally irrecoverable? Lin Yuan was startled. The essence of creating avatars involved severing a part of one's spirit will and then using it as a core to generate a second physical body. For any being, the spirit will is the most crucial part, as only those from the same spirit will can achieve shared memories and consciousness. To maintain the connection between the severed spirit will and the original self, the total amount of spirit will is fixed. For instance, a 10th rank being has a spirit will of 10 points. If they sever 2 points of spirit will to create an avatar, then henceforth the original Bodhi spirit will would be 8 points. The avatar spirit will would be 2 points. If another 2 points of spirit will are severed to form a second avatar, then the original self-spirit will would be reduced to 6 points. Each of the 2 avatars would have 2 points of spirit will. This is why most powerful beings have only one avatar. The more avatars are formed, the weaker the original self-spirit will becomes. And the weakening of one's spirit will affect everything, from understanding the rules to the functioning of one's own combat power and so on. The decline is quite severe. If an avatar perishes outside, then the original self-spirit will is restored. And then one could continue to sever the spirit will to create avatars. But did Xia Qin Supreme being mean that the avatar self-destructed within the two-dimensional world inside white paper would be lost forever? Does that mean the spirit will carried by the avatar can't be recovered and the original self permanently loses part of its spirit will? In a flash, Lin Yuan immediately realized what this meant. Devastating. The cost is simply too devastating. Permanently losing a portion of one's spirit will could seriously demote a powerful being's potential and strength by several levels. Although creating an avatar also requires severing a part of the spirit will, as long as the avatar is reclaimed, this portion of the spirit will can be restored. But now, eternally irrecoverable? Lin Yuan thought of himself. If the Taiyang divine spirit dies in the two-dimensional world inside white paper, does that mean he can't recondense this divine spirit either? And the Taiyin primordial spirit and Taiyang primordial spirit are Lin Yuan's foundation in martial Tao, supporting his grand martial Tao. Permanently losing the Taiyang primordial spirit would severely affect Lin Yuan's martial arts evolution system. With only the Taiyin primordial spirit, the martial Tao would become imbalanced between Yin and Yang, and could potentially collapse. Door to the myriad realms. In the two-dimensional world inside white paper, Lin Yuan's consciousness immediately plunged into his mind, looking toward that majestic door to the myriad realms. If his spirit will enters the door to the myriad realms and arrives in the world of another dimension, waiting for the Taiyang primordial spirit to die in the two-dimensional world so that this spirit will can return to his true self, then could it avoid the permanent loss effect of the Taiyang primordial spirit? Lin Yuan wasn't sure. This method could only be used as a last resort. The best choice, naturally, is to escape from this two-dimensional world, but how to escape? Lin Yuan's thoughts fluctuated. The supreme beings of human civilization know nothing about that white paper. The only certainty is that it's associated with the Taiyuan relic. Right? Ask them. Lin Yuan's thoughts slightly moved. Shenhuang's secret realm. Lin Yuan's consciousness incarnation descended there. Master. A six-armed silhouette bowed slightly to Lin Yuan, respectfully saying, "Do you know about this white paper?" Lin Yuan didn't waste words, simply manifesting the appearance of the white paper. The six-armed silhouette was the spirit of the Shenhuang secret realm, created by Shenhuang, and definitely knew much more than the supreme beings of human civilization. After all, Shenhuang was a powerful being renowned even in the chaos void. This white paper contains a two-dimensional world. Nearby materials will be forcefully reduced in dimension and plunge into the white paper. Lin Yuan tried to convey everything he had learned. Two-dimensional world? White paper. The six-armed silhouette was momentarily taken aback. Is Master talking about low-dimensional space? The six-armed silhouette said immediately. Low-dimensional space. Lin Yuan's spirits lifted. Please explain in detail. Yes. The six-armed silhouette didn't dare to hesitate, perceiving the importance of this to Lin Yuan. Low-dimensional space, according to the few records obtained by His Majesty from a perilous place, the six-armed silhouette hurriedly said, low-dimensional space is an artifact created by beings close to perfect time beings to explore other dimensional spaces. However, later, some powerful beings found out that low-dimensional space allows two lives of different strengths to start from the same beginning. A sliver of spirit will in the form of an avatar descends into the low-dimensional space, needing to start from scratch. Discarding everything, starting fresh, without the influence of lineage, without the influence of secret techniques, without the influence of understanding the rules. Thus, the greatest use of low-dimensional space is to test aptitude. At the same starting point, under the same environment, within a fixed time, Whoever's strength improves the fastest indicates who has the strongest aptitude. Eventually, low-dimensional space became a sort of entertainment. Life forms of different levels often divide a sliver of spirit will to engage in a battle within the low-dimensional space. As the six-armed silhouette spoke, it paused and seemed to be recalling something. Of course, there are two types of low-dimensional space. One is a purely recreational low-dimensional space, with no restrictions. The other is a gamble-style low-dimensional space. This type of low-dimensional space has many rules, and leaving midway carries a severe penalty. Of course, if you defeat your opponent in the end, you would receive a substantial reward. The six-armed silhouette spoke with a hint of nostalgia. His Majesty once said, "The ultimate winner in low-dimensional space would win everything. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 711, The Theory of Heaven's Gate. Please subscribe. Low-dimensional space? Lin Yuan looked solemn. According to the six-armed silhouette's description of low-dimensional space, Lin Yuan was almost certain that the white paper was the low-dimensional space. "Master, did you encounter the low-dimensional space?" The six-armed silhouette asked curiously. Low-dimensional space involves exploring even lower dimensions. Even Shenhuang had not obtained a complete low-dimensional space in the past. The chaos void had gone through several cosmic eras, and too many strange treasures had vanished into the past. Such treasures as low-dimensional spaces might only be found deep within those large perilous places. It was only possible, as Shenhuang had explored many such large perilous places during his time, obtaining only some intelligence regarding low-dimensional space. As for the real low-dimensional space, he had no chance to see it. "Not only did I see it, one of my avatars even fell into it." Lin Yuan roughly explained the course of events. He could fully trust the six-armed silhouette and had no need to conceal anything. "Master, do you mean that along with you, a large number of other powerhouses fell into the low-dimensional space as well?" The six-armed silhouette widened its eyes. "Yes." Lin Yuan nodded. "The number should be more than 100 million. Battlefield A098, a large alien battlefield, usually hosted a large number of powerhouses during regular periods. Especially since before the arrival of the white paper, various powers were about to trigger intense battlefield activity, continuously mobilizing powerhouses from all quarters. Lin Yuan roughly estimated that the number of 11th rank powerhouses in this battlefield would exceed 300. There would be up to 200,000 at 10th rank. The remaining powerhouses of 8th and 9th ranks combined approached 100 million. This was only the actual number of strong beings alone and did not include entities like puppets and so on. For example, the strong beings of the insect race specialized in nurturing a large number of insect race warriors. These warriors lacked independent thought and were not counted as part of the powerhouse numbers. 100 million? How can a mere simplistic space of a low-dimensional world possibly accommodate 100 million lives instantly? The six-armed silhouette was somewhat flabbergasted. According to the intelligence about low-dimensional space that Shenhuang got, a normal low-dimensional space, whether for entertainment or gambling purposes, could accommodate only very limited numbers of lives at the same time. At most, it would not exceed 100. As for 100 million, the heritage and essence of the low-dimensional space were far inferior to the normal chaos void. It simply couldn't support that many lives. Unless, CTH Nafire, a website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The six-armed silhouette's expression turned grave. "Master, I suspect that the low-dimensional space you fell into is one of the earliest generations of low-dimensional spaces, created by beings close to perfect time beings who paid a tremendous price and exhausted infinite resources. The low-dimensional space originated from beings close to perfect time beings exploring dimensions. The low-dimensional spaces that spread later were mere imitations of those original spaces. The earliest generation of low-dimensional spaces?" Lin Yuan appeared slightly puzzled. "Yes," the six-armed silhouette spoke. "Regarding the earliest generation of low-dimensional spaces, His Majesty isn't highly informed, only knowing that they contain opportunities bestowed by beings close to perfect time beings. The life that falls into such a low-dimensional space, as long as it meets the conditions, could receive the bestowed gift. The six-armed silhouette spoke. How to leave? Lin Yuan asked the crucial question. The method to leave shouldn't be hard to discover. You just need to explore the low-dimensional space more, and you will probably find out. The six-armed silhouette hesitantly said. Inside the white paper, Lin Yuan still sat cross-legged in that narrow room. Through exchanges with Xiaqin Supreme Being, Shenhuang Spirit of the Mysterious Realm, and Stone Statue Shinji, he had the most basic judgment of his current situation. First, if the Taiyang Divine Spirit were to die within this two-dimensional world, then he would completely lose this primordial spirit. Second, there should be a way to leave, but managing to leave smoothly was not an easy task. Leaving this low-dimensional space midway would incur severe penalties, and it was highly likely that one would need to defeat other life forms that had fallen in before being able to leave. Third, as long as certain conditions were met, one could receive the reward from the creator of this two-dimensional world, which is the being close to a perfect time being. Fourth, the flow of time here was different from the main universe, with the rough ratio reaching 100 to 1 in simple terms. As 1 year passed in the main universe, 100 years would go by in this two-dimensional world. Lin Yuan's focus was currently on leaving this two-dimensional world. Whether or not he could retrieve a reward was not within his considerations. Situated in this two-dimensional world, the means of enhancing strength from the main universe are rendered 99% obsolete, Lin Yuan thought to himself. In the main universe of the 10,000 universe races, whether it's human civilization or other groups, the enhancement of strength is geared towards the understanding of many rules. Using the power of rules, one could easily unleash strength far beyond one's limits. And once the understanding of rules reached a certain level, one could create an inner world, leveraging the power of the inner world to achieve strength enhancement by hundreds or thousands times. But here, rules? There are no rules. Inner world? Lacking the support of spatial dimensions, there is no semblance of creating an inner world. Lin Yuan's inner world was compressed into a piece of paper. Therefore, in this world, there are only two ways to enhance strength. One is the physical body. The stronger the body, the stronger the strength. This is the most primitive comparison of strength. Secondly, there are skills. Under absolute power, skills are of little use. But if the strength is comparable or the difference is not significant, the one with superior skills will have a more powerful composite strength. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 712 The Theory of Heaven's Gate. Please subscribe. _2 Lin Yuan was unaware of what conditions were needed to leave this two-dimensional world. But improving his strength was definitely the right approach. The martial path, evolutionary path, is inherently good at strengthening the body. It's just that in this two-dimensional world, the way to enhance the body is starkly different from that in the main universe. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. Ever since the perfect time being created low-dimensional space, such spaces have been widely spread for use in leisure or gambling competitions to test understanding. Since the lives in low-dimensional space find most of their usual cultivation methods useless, if they wish to grow stronger, they must start from scratch and create new cultivation methods suited for this low-dimensional space. I have against heaven's understanding, so creating a cultivation method that suits this world isn't difficult, Lin Yuan thought to himself. However, he didn't underestimate the thoughts of other powerhouses who fell into this two-dimensional world. Especially those 11th rank lives on the same level, Lin Yuan believed that no one could match his understanding. But when compared with higher-level lives, under the perspective of looking down from a great height, the gap was bound to shrink. Moreover, having lost the support of the powers of rules, the upper limit of this two-dimensional world was inevitably not high. Take it slow. Lin Yuan gathered his thoughts. Since he had fallen into this two-dimensional world, he could only take one step at a time. Let's see what's outside the room. Lin Yuan steadied his mind and stood up to push open the wooden door. Outside the door was lush greenery, and at a distance, there was a stream. A dark-skinned, middle-aged man was fishing by the stream. Wakaka. Upon seeing Lin Yuan walk out of the room, the middle-aged man immediately came over with big strides, speaking in a language Lin Yuan couldn't understand. A completely new language? Lin Yuan listened carefully and observed the middle-aged man's facial expressions with each intonation he uttered. After a brief pause, he tried speaking a few sentences tentatively and continued to watch the middle-aged man's reaction. After 3 or 4 minutes, he was more or less able to communicate normally with the middle-aged man. Although everything about Lin Yuan was suppressed in this two-dimensional world, his original self located in the main universe could share memories. With the thinking speed of a 10th rank life, and combined with Against Heaven's understanding, learning the language of this world was child's play for Lin Yuan. In fact, if he wasn't in this two-dimensional world, Lin Yuan could completely read the middle-aged man's every memory silently, a method far more efficient than the current way of language interaction. Are you saying that 2 days ago, countless meteors fell from the sky, and as it happened, one meteor landed nearby, which you went to find, and then you found me? After conversing with the middle-aged man for a while, Lin Yuan appeared to be in deep thought. The so-called meteors should be the same as him, the powerhouses drawn into the battlefield within white paper. SAR the novel F.I.R. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. After a while, by continuously guiding the middle-aged man, Lin Yuan roughly obtained basic information about this two-dimensional world. From the middle-aged man's perspective, he lived on a vast and boundless continent. This continent's lifestyle was very primitive, with most people gathering in the form of tribes. Occasionally there were some cities, and cities were indeed very powerful forces, supposedly with great witch kings in charge. Witch kings were the strongest entities the middle-aged man knew of, able to easily move mountains and split rocks, infinitely terrifying. My luck isn't too bad. Lin Yuan glanced at the middle-aged man and thought to himself. At least the middle-aged man didn't harbor any malicious intentions when he found him. Given the information Lin Yuan had just received from Xiaqin Supreme Being, many powerhouses had found themselves in dire straits after falling into this two-dimensional world. Some powerhouses were unfortunate enough to fall into hands of the cannibal tribe, where they were directly hung on a roasting spit. To know 9th rank, 10th rank, and 11th rank powerhouses, the moment they fell into this world, all their powers and methods were dimensionally reduced and couldn't be used, rendering them no different from ordinary people in this two-dimensional world. The only thing unchanged was their memory. But relying on memory alone was of no use, especially when encountering those cannibal tribes. With no common language, their fate was predictable. Some of the powerhouses who ended up in the hands of the cannibal tribes, unable to bear the humiliation, chose to self-destruct or eradicate the consciousness that had fallen into this two-dimensional world. Then, there came the discovery that death in the avatar of this two-dimensional world would result in a fundamental loss. Beyond ending up in the cannibal tribes, some fell directly into nests of ferocious beasts and were promptly devoured. Still, some landed in prosperous cities, astonishing some native powerhouses, who then captured them to study slowly. In any case, according to what Lin Yuan knew, a significant portion of the powerhouses who fell into this two-dimensional world were not in good situations. Of course, there were also those who were in good situations, such as being treated as sacred beings descended from heaven by some tribal forces, or being valued by native powerhouses and so forth. Lin Yuan's situation was not particularly good, but it was not bad either. At least he was quite satisfied. Pato, where is the nearest gathering place? Lin Yuan looked at the honest middle-aged man before him. From their conversation, Lin Yuan knew that the man's name was Pato, and he lived by fishing and hunting. After finding Lin Yuan, he had brought him back home. That direction, Pato pointed in a certain direction, but it's better to wait for others if you want to go there. Otherwise, encountering a ferocious beast on the way could be deadly. There were other natives living around Pato's dwelling, totaling about dozens of people. On this continent, all sorts of ferocious beasts were rampant, and humans in this world could only survive by sticking together. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 713, The Theory of Heaven's Gate. Please subscribe. _3 Of course, those powerful settlements and cities are capable of indiscriminately hunting down those ferocious beasts, and safety need not be mentioned. But to settle in such places comes at a steep price, something ordinary people like Pato wouldn't even dream of. That night, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. At this moment, every bone in his body was trembling, and his skin was continuously oozing black impurities. As a 10th rank evolver, even in this two-dimensional world, he could initiate a transformation akin to marrow cleansing by leveraging control over his own body. I now, after all, possess the power to protect myself. Lin Yuan breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that the most dangerous times for powerhouses from the main universe who fall into this two-dimensional world are the first 3 days. The first 2 days were spent in slumber, and the third in adaptation. Once those 3 days were endured, one could, to a greater or lesser extent, gain some self-protective abilities based on one's own capabilities. My physical body now, has it reached the level of a witch in this world? Lin Yuan wondered silently to himself. The cultivation in this two-dimensional world was extremely straightforward, being a constant enhancement of one's physical strength, progressing from weak to strong. Witch king, witch emperor, witch emperor. It was said that above the witch emperor existed the witch ancestor, but they were so rare that whenever one appeared, all beings across the continent would worship them. According to the information Lin Yuan indirectly obtained from the natives other than Pato, a witch ancestor would be born in this world only every several thousand to tens of thousands of years. Witch ancestor? It's nothing more than having transformed the physical body to the limit. Even 8th layer beings, given enough time, can easily achieve it. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly, foreseeing that as time went by, and the strong from the various races of the main universe gradually adapted, a group of extremely terrifying powerhouses would emerge on this continent. The witch ancestor is just the beginning. Lin Yuan's expression remained calm. A level easily attainable by 8th tier beings, not to mention those of 9th rank, 10th rank, and even 11th rank life. In the following time, Lin Yuan would rest during the day, and at night, he would secretly leave to hunt those terrifying beasts. After one transformation, Lin Yuan realized that in order to continue to develop the potential of his physical body, he needed to consume enough energy. But where could that energy come from? The force of heaven and earth? The concept of heaven and earth's force did not exist in the two-dimensional world. All energy was acquired in the most primitive way, devouring other powerful, ferocious beasts. Boom! A 10-meter-tall giant elephant fell to the ground, and Lin Yuan sat cross-legged in front of the giant elephant, taking the most core part of its flesh and blood and eating it raw. Rustling. CTHNL Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. A great deal of blood energy poured into his body and was quickly absorbed and refined by Lin Yuan, slowly strengthening his physique. Time passed. Before long, over half a month had elapsed. Witch King. Lin Yuan's body underwent a second transformation. His strength and speed greatly improved, far surpassing that of a previous witch. Based on the scarce information from Pato and others, Lin Yuan should now be a Witch King. A Witch King-level powerhouse could already command a region. The strongest in an ordinary settlement was no more than a Witch King. Even within city-level forces, a Witch King carried significant influence and belonged to the ranks of the top powerhouses. Huff, huff. Lin Yuan took a light breath, having become a Witch King at the cost of hunting down and devouring all the beasts with a size greater than 10 meters within 10,000 miles. As for those under 10 meters, their contained blood energy was too little. Lin Yuan couldn't be bothered to take action, and he left some for Pato and his people anyway. If the nearby ferocious beasts were exterminated, Pato and his group of natives would likely have to migrate to other places to live. And on this continent, migration was very dangerous. However, I can go to the nearest settlement tomorrow. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Every 2 months, Pato and his people would join forces to make a trip to a settlement, to exchange goods they had gathered. Main universe. Virtual world. While over half a month had passed in the two-dimensional world, little more than an hour had gone by in the main universe. Personal space. Lin Yuan and Nailin, the deputy tower master, sat opposite each other. Under the descent of that white paper, an avatar of Nailin, the deputy tower master, was also caught up in battlefield A098. Therefore, it was naturally swept into the two-dimensional world within the white paper. However, Nailin had better luck than Lin Yuan. His landing place was a city, and by chance he was found by the daughter of the city's master. The city master's daughter immediately took Nailin back for treatment. Here are the cultivation laws I've collected from that two-dimensional world. Take a look. Nailin, the deputy tower master, immediately took out dozens of cultivation laws and passed them to Lin Yuan. Nailin was favored by the city master's daughter and had access to high-level materials, especially the cultivation laws. In that two-dimensional world, cultivation laws were almost monopolized, and ordinary people wouldn't know how much they would have to pay to get their hands on them. Thank you. Lin Yuan nodded. Through these cultivation laws, Lin Yuan could more directly observe the essence of the power of that world. When Lin Yuan established the martial arts evolution system, he also observed a great deal of other evolution systems, even those from other dimensional worlds. Therefore, observing the cultivation laws of the two-dimensional world would also be of great use to him. By the way, I've heard some news. Nailin, the deputy tower master, said softly as if he had just thought of something. What news? Lin Yuan inquired immediately. Heaven's Gate, replied Nailin with brevity. Heaven's Gate. Lin Yuan's eyebrows rose. According to the records of the city I was in, every 10,000 years, Heaven's Gate would manifest in the world. At that time, only which emperor-level and which ancestor-level beings could approach Heaven's Gate. In the end, only one individual can stand before Heaven's Gate. If someone could open Heaven's Gate, they would leave this world and head to a higher level one. Nailin spoke with a heavy tone. While he was not certain whether opening the Heaven's Gate meant returning to the main universe, it was the only method he knew of so far that explicitly mentioned leaving this world. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 7 14-20 years. Subscription request. Only one person can approach the Heavenly Gate? Lin Yuan asked. Exactly. Nailin nodded affirmatively. The information he received indicated that every time the Heavenly Gate opened, it would be the most bloody and brutal period for the entire continent. At that time, even witch emperor-level powerhouses would fall like rain, and everyone would crave entry into the Heavenly Gate. As for the witch ancestor, not every era would give birth to one. But if a witch ancestor existed when the Heavenly Gate opened, there was no doubt that it would be the witch ancestor who eventually stood before the gate. Before many powerhouses from the main universe descended into the two-dimensional world, the witch ancestor was undoubtedly the strongest on the continent. When was the last time the Heavenly Gate opened? Lin Yuan immediately inquired. 9,800 years ago, Nailin answered, having taken great interest in such intelligence after hearing about the Heavenly Gate and made sure to gather clear information. So, you mean the next time the Heavenly Gate will open is in 200 years? Lin Yuan furrowed his brows. This was not good news. If there were no other powerhouses from the main universe, Lin Yuan was very confident in appearing before the Heavenly Gate. But in reality, in that two-dimensional world, there were already over 311th rank powerhouses from the main universe alone. The 11th rank powerhouses with extremely terrifying speed of thought processing might not have an understanding like Lin Yuan, but with only 200 years remaining, Lin Yuan was not sure about sweeping all the 11th rank powerhouses, especially those who had reached the 6th tier of 11th rank peak life. They could strike at the ultimate level anytime, for they had already reached perfection in every aspect. The ability of understanding, no doubt, the longer the time, the greater the advantage it brings. And judging by the timing of the heavenly gates opening, the next time would be in 10,200 years. CTH Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. In the two-dimensional world, one could not comprehend rules or create an inner world, meaning lifespan was significantly shortened. Lin Yuan was not confident about surviving for 10,200 years. And as long as one died in the two-dimensional world, whether killed or due to old age, it would cause a fundamental loss to one's spirit will. Does the Supreme Being know about this? Lin Yuan immediately asked. I have already informed the Supreme Being, Nalan nodded. Regarding the matter of the heavenly gate, it was not too secretive. Even if Nalan had not mentioned it, Lin Yuan would have come to know of it soon after. The Supreme Being's idea is for us to do as much as we can, Nalan spoke. Lin Yuan remained silent. With just a few sentences, he could feel the brutal nature of the competition. The adversaries of human civilization's evolvers are those special beings, especially those at the 6th tier of 11th rank peak. Being special beings with terrifying innate talents, it's tough for other beings to compete under the same starting conditions. Blank paper inner world. The cultivation methods passed to him by Nalan floated in Lin Yuan's mind. There are 13 sets of cultivation methods in total, 6 of which have the greatest potential, capable of cultivating up to the Witch Emperor realm. The remaining 7 can reach the Witch King level. Lin Yuan read carefully. Although he had also reached the Witch King level, the cultivation method he practiced was created temporarily according to the Against Heaven's understanding of his body. Compared to these methods, which have been handed down for tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years, there were inevitably some deficiencies. It's not that the cultivation methods Lin Yuan created on the spot were inferior to those transmitted for tens or hundreds of thousands of years, but rather they lacked thorough consideration in some minute areas. Crack crack. While reading through the 13 sets of cultivation methods, Lin Yuan's body subtly began to vibrate, making local adjustments according to these 13 methods. Which king-level powerhouses can move mountains and split stones, which emperors can punch through a mountain range with one fist, which emperors can tear apart hundreds of miles of land with one foot. As for which ancestor-level powerhouses, there are currently no definitive records, because which ancestors have never gone all out. While pondering the cultivation methods, Lin Yuan thought about the cultivation system of this world. I wonder how those 11th rank powerhouses are doing now? Lin Yuan looked up into the distance, silently thinking. Inside a primitive dense forest, a figure 3 meters tall stood on the treetops, his aura making the fierce beasts in a radius of dozens of miles tremble. I've finally cultivated to the Witch King realm. This 3-meter-tall figure had a cold gaze. I am a great ancient god of 11th tier, destined to strike at the ultimate level. If this avatar dies here, causing fundamental damage to my spirit will, the time to strike at the ultimate will be indefinitely postponed. This 3-meter-tall figure was unwilling to accept such a consequence. The heavenly gate opens in 200 years? And at last, only one can stand before the gate and leave this world? The eyes of the towering figure narrowed slightly. 200 years. Over the next 200 years, all my focus will be submerged in this world, doing everything possible to maximize my strength. The next moment, this 3-meter-tall figure vanished into the distance. Within an ordinary gathering place, Tuoba, ancient god, disguised as an ordinary human, walked on the street. I should not have agreed to the insect race, Tuoba, ancient god, regretted inwardly. He discovered that after offending the Galaxy Master, his fortune had never been good, initially standing fully on the opposite side of human civilization. Now he was even trapped in this two-dimensional world. If not for considering a way out, why would he agree to the insect race's invitation to come to the battlefield? If he hadn't been in the battlefield, he wouldn't have been drawn into this two-dimensional world. Regretting now is pointless. The most important thing now is to strengthen myself to the maximum before the heavenly gate opens in 200 years. Tuoba, ancient god, steadied his mind, thinking to himself. Originally, he had planned to strike at the ultimate within 10 million years. if he fell in this two-dimensional world during this period, causing his spirit will to decline. Don't bother aiming for the ultimate anymore because it's doomed to fail. I'm just a whisker away from advancing to which emperor. On the calm sea surface, a four-armed man stood, his aura spreading in all directions like an abyss. Even for a supreme being, killing me won't be easy. How could I possibly fall in this two-dimensional world? The four-armed man's eyes shone brightly. He was a mighty special being capable of standing shoulder to shoulder with the mother of the tree realm. Long ago, he had met all the prerequisites for aiming towards the ultimate. If not for the fear of failing, he would have already started attempting it. This two-dimensional world, for me, might not be a bad thing. If I can leave smoothly in the end, I have a premonition that my state of mind will greatly improve. The four-armed man thought to himself. Even he was feeling some pressure at this moment, which was rare. Luo River Gathering Place. Lin Yuan and Pado, among others, entered this large gathering place. Wherever Lin Yuan looked, he saw a multitude of people coming and going, some of whom even exuded the aura of witches. Still, witch kings were rare, at least for now. Apart from a witch king lurking deep within the gathering place, Lin Yuan hadn't discovered a second one yet. Pado, I need to leave for a while. Lin Yuan bid farewell to Pado. This time, Lin Yuan had no plans to return. Settling in the gathering place was very beneficial for Lin Yuan. At least it was easy to obtain the various cultivation resources he needed on a regular basis. And in such gathering places, information was often very well informed, which Lin Yuan greatly needed. As for the cost of settling, for Lin Yuan, who was now a witch king, it couldn't be simpler. Okay. Pado nodded. They had come here to exchange the resources they had obtained and to buy some daily necessities to take back. Lin Yuan parted from Pado. Lin Yuan quickly arrived at a shop. My lord. A charming woman greeted him. Though Lin Yuan was dressed plainly, the subtle aura he emitted was indeed not to be ignored. I want to sell some items, Lin Yuan said calmly. My lord, our shop offers extremely fair acquisition prices. Please feel at ease selling. The charming woman immediately said. Lin Yuan nodded, then took out a bundle of soft, white fur. This is. The woman's expression changed slightly. White sky fox's fur. And it's from its most precious part? The woman was internally shocked. White sky fox was a witch-level fierce beast, extremely fast, and even a witch king would find it hard to capture, let alone catch it alive and then skin it. The fur of the white sky fox was quite popular in large cities, not only warm and soft, but also nutritive for women. How much is it worth? Lin Yuan asked directly. My lord, I cannot decide on this. Let me call our manager, the woman said cautiously. Go ahead. Lin Yuan spoke indifferently. Ordinary witch kings might not catch the white sky fox, but Lin Yuan was no ordinary witch king. Before long, a bearded man walked briskly over. My lord, this batch of white sky fox fur, our shop is willing to offer a price of 30,000 witch crystals for it. The bearded man pondered for a moment and then spoke. That's acceptable. Lin Yuan nodded. 30,000 witch crystals was indeed a substantial fortune and matched the normal acquisition price for white sky fox fur. Both parties quickly completed the transaction. The bearded man watched Lin Yuan leave. Manager, why not press down the price? The charming woman asked, somewhat puzzled. She could see that Lin Yuan was eager to sell the white sky fox fur. This was the best time to press the price. Press the price. The bearded manager glanced at the charming woman. You think a witch king who can capture a white sky fox alive and sell its fur is someone we can pressure? Witch king? The charming woman was startled internally. Was that young man just now a witch king? The strongest in the Luo River Gathering Place is only a witch king. I don't know, the bearded manager shook his head. But since he could offer white sky fox fur, I treated him as a witch king. Leaving the shop, Lin Yuan entered several other shops. He nearly polished off the harvest of his hunting during this period. He gained another 23,000 witch crystals. Pado, I won't be returning. If you have any issues in the future, you can always come to this place to find me. Lin Yuan still met with Pato one more time. After saying goodbye to Pato, Lin Yuan went to the residence he had purchased. This was a manor that Lin Yuan had spent over 20,000 witch crystals to buy. Owning a property was one of the conditions for settling in the gathering place. Let's focus on cultivating slowly. Lin Yuan cherished every minute, aware that once the news of the Gate of Heaven's opening spread, all the strong beings of the main universe descending on this two-dimensional world would elevate their own powers at all costs. If the Gate of Heaven opened in 2,000 years, Lin Yuan was confident that he could sweep away all the supreme beings of the main universe. But with only 200 years, time was still too short. Soon, 20 years flickered by. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 7:15 Generous Bounty. Please subscribe. 20 years in the two-dimensional world, but only 2 to 3 months have passed in the main universe. Virtual world. Lin Yuan was exchanging intelligence with Nalan, the Vice Tower Master. In the two-dimensional world, the powerhouses from various major forces had mostly begun to collaborate. Even those unique and exceptional beings were no exception. In the main universe, those 11th rank, 6th tier special lives were terrifying in strength. But in the two-dimensional world, 11th rank peak lives that hadn't fully matured might die at the hands of a 9th or 10th rank life. The power ceiling in the two-dimensional world isn't high, and even 8th layer lives could easily reach it. Under the same power ceiling, an 11th rank peak life, relying on powerful spirit will and skillful insights, might manage to sweep away 10 or 8 existences of the same level. But what about 100 or 1,000? It should be noted that the number of myriad tribes powerhouses who fell into the two-dimensional world exceeded 100 million. 11th rank lives which have not grown to their limits might indeed suffer setbacks if they are careless. Of course, given time, an 11th rank life is destined to surpass those of the 8th layer. An 11th rank powerhouse, through mastery of power, could rise again even if starting from scratch. But they need time to grow. 11th rank peak powerhouses need time, and Lin Yuan also needed time. With Against Heaven's understanding, starting from the same point, Lin Yuan was confident he could reach heights and go further than those 11th rank peak lives. Galaxy Master, as an evolver of our human civilization, I've established a stronghold in the capital of Molan Ancient Country. Are you interested in coming over? Nalan, the Vice Tower Master, asked with a smile. Although, within the two-dimensional world, every time the heavenly gate opens, only one person can leave. Within the ranks of human civilization's evolvers, there is still much unity before completely clearing out the different species' strong ones. Molan Ancient Country? Lin Yuan raised his eyebrows slightly. In the two-dimensional world's vast continent, ancient countries are behemoths surpassing gathering places and cities. So far, Lin Yuan knew of only 12 ancient countries, each established by a witch ancestor and commanding vast territories. My current location is too remote. Molan Ancient Country is too far. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly, casually finding an excuse to brush it off. In reality, Lin Yuan simply did not want to gather where there were many people. As one of the 12 ancient countries, the capital of Molan is exceedingly prosperous, meaning that it was very likely for other myriad tribes' powerhouses to head there. In that place, encountering powerhouses from the main universe was all too likely. That's a pity. Nalan, the Vice Tower Master, sighed, not insisting further. The vast continent in the two-dimensional world was too expansive and, without the ability to utilize space rules to leap, traveling became a huge problem. Following that, Lin Yuan continued to chat with Nalan, the Vice Tower Master. The topics were mainly about cultivation and the whereabouts of certain well-known different species strong ones. So far, the Luochuan gathering place where I am located is still very safe. There is no trace of any different species strong ones. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Although more than 100 million myriad tribes powerhouses had fallen into the two-dimensional world, They seemed exceedingly rare when dispersed across the entire continent. While the Luochuan gathering place is a major gathering spot, it's far less significant than city-level forces, let alone ancient country-level forces. SAR the Novel Fire, net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Truly powerful myriad tribes powerhouses almost always gravitate toward prosperous areas, where resources are plentiful and would greatly enhance their strength. Galaxy Master, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at any time. Nalan, the Vice Tower Master, finally said. Surely. Lin Yuan nodded. Luochuan gathering place. Lin Yuan opened his eyes. External forces are still unreliable. Lin Yuan sighed inwardly. Over the years, he had been waiting for news of the Supreme Beings, for if the Supreme Beings could refine that white paper, they would have the capability to pull him out. But now it seemed that hope wasn't very strong. My greatest advantage compared to those 11th rank lives is still my understanding. Lin Yuan pondered. Upon realizing he couldn't rely on external forces to leave, he began to assess himself. 11th rank lives, in terms of thought process speed and mastery of basic power, would surely surpass Lin Yuan. But understanding, even with the lofty perspective it provided, Lin Yuan believed his was far superior to those 11th rank lives. Yet, such an advantage could not directly translate into combat power, especially in the early stages of cultivation, following the two-dimensional world's cultivation system, which didn't demand much in terms of understanding. The 5 realms, which king, which emperor, which ancestor, follow this two-dimensional world's method of cultivation, and it's feasible just to cultivate step by step. The real need for understanding comes after reaching the Witch Ancestor realm. After the Witch Ancestor realm, when there's no path ahead, to continue to enhance one's strength, one must forge a new path by reliance on oneself. At that moment, Lin Yuan's Against Heaven's understanding would reveal a great advantage. Simply put, before reaching Witch Ancestor, Lin Yuan's cultivation speed couldn't keep up with those 11th rank peak lives. But beyond Witch Ancestor, Lin Yuan would overwhelm those 11th rank peak lives. That was also why Lin Yuan declined Nalan's invitation, hiding in the secluded Luochuan gathering place. As long as he could get through the initial phases of cultivation, those 11th rank lives should prepare to be crushed by him. For now, Lin Yuan didn't want to interact much with those myriad tribes' powerhouses. 20 years' time, and I've also cultivated to the peak of the Witch Emperor realm. Lin Yuan silently thought. In fact, had he not hidden here, but moved to a more prosperous area to utilize vast resources, Lin Yuan might have already stepped into the Witch Emperor realm. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 716 Generous Bounty. Please subscribe. _2 But the risk of such behavior was encountering the myriad tribes' powerhouses prematurely. Shooting the leading bird exposes oneself too early and is very likely to be targeted by ill-intentioned people. At the Witch Emperor peak realm, my true combat power should be no weaker than the Witch Emperor. Lin Yuan was confident. Compared to native powerhouses, Lin Yuan, as an outsider, had a broader perspective and a more profound mastery and application of power, vastly outstripping the local Witch Emperors. Over the years, Lin Yuan had utilized his Against Heaven's understanding to create various techniques and combat methods, bringing his killing tactics to an astonishing level. The upcoming Witch Emperor realm, by deduction, is a critical phase related to unlocking all my potential once stepping into the Witch Ancestor realm. Lin Yuan thought silently. In the beginning of his cultivation, Lin Yuan had started calculating the path beyond the Witch Ancestor realm due to his Against Heaven's understanding, aware of the importance of the Witch Emperor realm. Indeed, starting from the Witch Emperor realm, Lin Yuan had gradually discarded the original cultivation system of this world and began creating a cultivation method completely suited to himself and adaptable to this world. Still, I need to reference a large number of cultivation methods from this world, otherwise stepping into the Witch Emperor could waste a lot of time, Lin Yuan thought. The martial path, evolutionary path, was also developed by observing and integrating various other evolutionary paths. While Lin Yuan was deep in thought, A voice suddenly came. "My lord, come in." Lin Yuan glanced at the door. Soon, a skinny man walked in. This skinny man, named Zha Gu, was the controller of the Luochuan gathering area, a Witch King-level powerhouse. 12 years ago, as Lin Yuan stepped into the Witch Emperor realm, he conveniently subdued Zha Gu, becoming the true master of this large gathering area. Of course, Lin Yuan's identity was unknown to outsiders. All maneuvers remained clandestine. Master, Zha Gu was respectfully poised. Only he knew how terrifying Lin Yuan's strength truly was. When Lin Yuan first appeared before him and expressed his desire to take over the gathering area, Zha Gu was skeptical, but everything that happened afterwards still made him tremble with fear. The strength Lin Yuan displayed had far surpassed that of a Witch King, and many years ago, Zha Gu had fortuitously seen a Witch Emperor-level powerhouse, but even that seemed inferior to Lin Yuan. "Did you find out what I asked you to investigate?" Lin Yuan asked with a calm tone. Since he was in hiding in the Luochuan gathering area, the entire area must be under his control, which was why Lin Yuan had subdued Zha Gu. After becoming the true master of the Luochuan gathering area, at least during the Witch Emperor stage, the cultivation resources were somewhat alleviated. But that was just an alleviation. Stepping into the Witch Emperor realm would require a vast amount of resources that the Luochuan gathering area could not provide. Thus, not long ago, Lin Yuan had Zha Gu keep an eye on the surrounding information. "My lord, the whereabouts of the Yunshan 18 robbers have been confirmed," Zha Gu spoke softly. "Sar the novel_fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The Yunshan 18 robbers, notorious as 18 utterly vile Witch Kings. These 18 Witch Kings, all at the peak of Witch King level, were nefarious and carried many bounties and warrants on their heads. Adding up the bounties, each Witch King could fetch over 2 million witch crystals, making up nearly 40 million witch crystals in total. A tremendous price. Lin Yuan needed a massive amount of resources for cultivation, but how to obtain them? The quickest method was raiding, but that bore great risks and was too high profile. Thus, accepting the bounties from the ancient country and hunting down those high-bounty fugitives seemed like the safest method Lin Yuan could think of. Firstly, killing these desperados wouldn't lead to future accountability, and by responding to the ancient country's warrants, his identity would definitely be kept confidential. In such a scenario, earning a sizable bounty perfectly matched Lin Yuan's expectations. This didn't even include the personal wealth carried by the Yunshan 18 robbers themselves. "I understand." Lin Yuan nodded. The Yunshan 18 robbers, having recently perpetrated a major crime, were pursued by Witch Emperor-level powerhouses and had since fled to nearby areas. As the kingpin of the Luochuan gathering place, having operated here for many years, Zha Gu had quickly pinpointed the general area where the Yunshan 18 robbers were likely hiding. "My lord, if you intend to handle the Yunshan 18 robbers, please be extremely cautious. They have trained in a combined attack technique that even Witch Emperors have to avoid," Zha Gu cautioned softly. The bounty on the Yunshan 18 robbers, nearly 40 million witch crystals, was a fortune even Witch Emperors coveted deeply. Yet, over the years, the Yunshan 18 robbers had roamed freely, pursued by many Witch Emperors, all of whom returned empty-handed. Even a few Witch Emperors had been injured by these 18 robbers, suffering considerable losses. Zha Gu revered Lin Yuan's power, but faced with such fierce foes as the Yunshan 18 robbers, abundant caution was never excessive. Dongyuan City. This was the closest city to the Luochuan gathering area and was a rare large city. On its bustling and lively streets, Lin Yuan walked leisurely, his appearance and physique significantly altered. Since he planned to kill the Yunshan 18 robbers, Lin Yuan naturally had accepted the bounty in advance. If he killed first and then accepted the bounty, disputes might arise. Shuiyu Tavern. This was an official reward issuing point established by the Shuiyu ancient country. It was specifically used to pursue those utterly evil criminals, and anyone could also issue a bounty targeting someone here. When Lin Yuan entered Shuiyu Tavern, someone promptly appeared to serve him. "Are you here to accept a bounty, or to issue one?" The person serving Lin Yuan was a hunchbacked old man who watched Lin Yuan with a deep, steady gaze. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Half a year ago, the Cloud Mountain 18 bandits plundered a treasury of the prince of the northern town of Shuyu ancient country. Out of sheer rage, the prince personally contributed witch crystals, raising the bounty of the Cloud Mountain 18 bandits to 60 million. The hunchbacked old man said, giving Lin Yuan a meaningful glance. The Cloud Mountain 18 bandits were able to break into the prince's treasury so smoothly. Their strength must be higher than imagined. Are you sure you still want to accept their bounty? Certain. Lin Yuan's expression remained unchanged. The strength of the Cloud Mountain 18 bandits higher than imagined? Even if all 18 of them collectively ascended to Witch Emperor, with Lin Yuan's strength comparable to that of a Witch Emperor, he could easily break through. This is the bounty order. After killing the Cloud Mountain 18 bandits, bring their critical parts here to collect the reward. The hunchbacked old man did not continue to persuade and stated the tavern's rules. Lin Yuan pocketed the bounty order and turned to leave Shuyu Tavern. He appeared in a vast primitive jungle. Based on the information obtained from Jia Rangu, the Cloud Mountain 18 bandits were last seen entering this jungle. Lin Yuan looked at the lush expanse of ancient trees in front of him and thought silently. Even for ordinary Witch Emperor powerhouses, let alone those at the level of Witch Emperor, finding the Cloud Mountain 18 bandits in such a vast jungle is no easy task. The Cloud Mountain 18 bandits, being fugitives for many years, must be incredibly cautious, attentive to any slight movement. But Lin Yuan was different. As a 10th rank evolver, although many of his abilities were suppressed, his keen sense of presence remained. Even from a great distance, he could still faintly sense them, an advantage held by all strong fighters in this two-dimensional world. At most, it will take half a day to search through. Lin Yuan disappeared from the spot and began moving silently at a stealthy speed toward various locations in the primitive jungle. In a certain valley of the primitive jungle, the 18 thieves of Yunshan were gathering here. Ha ha ha, plundering the treasury of the prince of the northern town was a real boon for us brothers. An exhilarated smile broke out on the faces of the 18. The prince of the northern town of the Shuyu ancient country, a major figure among the 12 ancient countries, owned a treasury that could make even witch kings, let alone witch emperors, envious. Brother, with the resources from the treasury, at least 3 to 5 witch emperors can emerge among us brothers. By then, the renown of Yunshan 18 thieves will significantly increase, said the 6th thief, unable to hold back, glancing at a burly man beside him. The burly man's expression betrayed a hint of a fierce temper, which he seemed quite pleased with at the moment. Just 18 witch kings forming the Yunshan 18 thieves had already left many witch emperors of the Shuyu Empire helplessly unable to interfere, and if 3 to 5 more witch emperors were born, the whole Shuyu Empire, as long as they didn't provoke those few beings, wouldn't they be free to run rampant? All right. We were only able to escape from under the hands of the prince of the northern town by completely relying on the unusual item brother has. Without that unusual item, even if we were 10 times stronger, we wouldn't have been able to make it out, said the second oldest among the 18, shaking his head. Indeed, it's all thanks to brother. Without brother's unusual item, we would have died long ago, said the rest of the group immediately. Was the treasury of the prince of the northern town that easy to take? If not for the boss' unusual compass, which could point out a way to survive at critical moments, they would have been killed under the chase of the prince's subordinates long ago. Not to mention escaping to here. Ha 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 ha. The boss, a brawny man, laughed heartily, feeling very pleased with himself. What is the prince of the northern town anyway? From now on, following me, even the treasury of the Shuyu Empire's imperial clan can be entered and exited 7 times without any issue. Boss is mighty. I have never regretted following boss. The 18 thieves immediately sang his praises. Right, big brother. What should our next move be? Although we are now far from the power of the prince of the northern town, we cannot let our guard down, said the second oldest at this time. Let me see. The burly man nodded, approving of this idea. The Yunshan 18 thieves have survived to this day not by strength, but by being cautious. Having said that, the burly man then took out a bronze compass from his bosom. At the center of the compass, a bronze needle was suspended. Whenever the burly man faced a desperate chase, he would take out this bronze compass, then follow the directions indicated by the needle on the compass to escape a dire situation. Compass, oh compass! Which direction should we brothers head in next to continue our carefree journey? The burly man held the compass in his hand, dripping a drop of fresh blood onto it. Suddenly, the suspended needle in the center of the compass began spinning rapidly. The burly man waited patiently. They were very familiar with this. Usually, within a moment, the needle on the compass would stop. Then they would follow the direction it pointed, which was guaranteed to be safe. However, as time passed, half an hour had gone by in the blink of an eye, and the burly man and the other 17 were somewhat baffled, because the bronze compass in front of them was still spinning non-stop. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 718 Strange Compass. Please subscribe. What's going on? Why hasn't the compass stopped yet? The 18 thieves of Yunshan looked at each other, somewhat puzzled. According to habit, the needle on the compass should have stopped quickly. Even when facing the pursuit of the forces under the prince of the northern town, it usually stopped after just a dozen breaths at most. But now, it had been spinning for nearly half an hour? Had it not been for their previous experience with the miraculous nature of the bronze compass, the 18 thieves of Yunshan probably would have grown impatient by now. Let's wait a bit longer. Exercising patience, the 18 thieves of Yunshan continued to wait. Another half an hour passed. The bronze compass in front of the 18 people, with its copper needle suspended in the central position, was still rotating rapidly. Is there a problem with the compass? The burly leader stood up, scrutinizing the bronze compass closely. Compass, oh compass! In which direction should we brothers head to ensure our safety? The burly man, seeking an alternative approach, posed another question. Buzz, buzz, buzz. No sooner had he spoken than the copper needle in the center of the bronze compass began to spin even faster. What does this mean? This scene left everyone somewhat baffled. What was the compass trying to convey? The burly man's brows were tightly furrowed as he vaguely grasped at a possibility. CTH novel F. Ire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But that possibility was too bizarre, wasn't it? Even when trapped in an assassination plot by the prince of the northern town, they had been able to escape unscathed, but in this desolate place. We need to scatter and retreat immediately. The burly man put away the compass and said to the other 17 people in a deep voice. Yes. All right, boss. Although the 17 men did not understand why the burly man gave such an order, they had absolute trust in him after so many years. It was this trust that enabled them to turn danger into safety time after time. Whoosh! The next moment, old 18, the slowest among the thieves, was the first to pick a direction and sprint away. The remaining group also planned to choose directions to flee. Suddenly, rustle, rustle. A figure quietly appeared behind old 18 as he fled. Then, with ease, the figure snapped old 18's neck and casually tossed the body of this evil witch king peak expert to the side. This scene instantly made the remaining 17 look pale, and a sense of indescribable horror rose within them. Old 18's strength was not much weaker than theirs. They were all witch king peak powerhouses. Yet before this suddenly appearing figure, not even a struggle was possible, and his neck was snapped just like that. Finally found you. Lin Yuan looked toward the 17 thieves of Yunshan. Well, it should now be the 17 thieves, and said with a smile. With his current strength, he could have turned old 18 into a pulp with a single slap. But doing so would have made it difficult to confirm the identity of old 18 as one of the Yunshan thieves. So Lin Yuan merely broke his neck, leaving the body intact. Are you sent by the prince of the northern town? The burly man steadied himself and asked in a low voice. The other 16 were dry-throated, staring intently at Lin Yuan. Prince of the northern town? Don't know him. Lin Yuan shook his head. But I'm quite interested in the bounty on you all. Bounty? The 17 thieves of Yunshan were slightly startled. To them, a powerhouse like Lin Yuan, even if not a witch emperor, was estimated to be close, ranking among the peak of the witch emperor peak realm. And he was interested in a mere tens of millions of magic crystals as bounty? My lord, if you do not harm us, we are willing to offer 60 million. No, 90 million magic crystals as compensation. At that moment, the old 10 of the 17 thieves of Yunshan spoke up cautiously. As he did, he produced a box of purple magic crystals. In the two-dimensional world, magic crystals were a special metal, and the purple ones were of the highest quality. This box of purple magic crystals was estimated to be worth close to 100 million. So many magic crystals? Lin Yuan's eyes brightened slightly. He had already been overjoyed by the 60 million bounty on the Yunshan thieves, but now there seemed to be an even greater gain. If you're not satisfied, we can add more? Although the remaining 17 thieves of the Cloud Mountain were bleeding inside, they still forced a smile and said, 90 million witch crystals were indeed a staggering number for them. But they had no choice, the situation was pressing. As long as they could convince Lin Yuan, they were willing to pay an even greater price. What do you think, sir? It's only 60 million witch crystals. We can offer more. Old 10 took a deep breath and continued to ask. However, snap, Lin Yuan's figure disappeared once again. By the time he reappeared, he was already standing beside Old 10. With a casual reach, he took the box of purple witch crystals and casually twisted Old 10's neck. If I kill you, won't all this be mine? Lin Yuan closed the box and solemnly put it away. Let's go. Seeing this, the burly man didn't hesitate to burst away towards the back. The other 15 did the same, each choosing a direction to flee. Think you can escape? Lin Yuan opened his mouth and took a light breath. Rumble. Terrifying air currents surged from all around, entering Lin Yuan's mouth as if he was the eye of a storm. Even now, the burly man might be daunted by Lin Yuan's power and dare not harbor any thoughts. But what about the future? Naturally, Lin Yuan didn't want to leave such a hidden danger by his side. It was simpler to kill him for peace of mind. As for subordinates, there were so many natives in this world. Was there a lack of people to serve under him? All 18 of you should go together. Lin Yuan raised his right hand and effortlessly twisted the burly man's neck. The burly man's eyes bulged as his breath rapidly faded. Cloud Mountain's 18 thieves, all dead here. Lin Yuan withdrew his hand. 60 million witch crystals, plus that box worth 90 million witch crystals of purple witch crystals, 150 million witch crystals in total, along with the savings of these 18 men. The resources needed to break through to the Witch Emperor realm are all gathered. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. This outing had fully met his expectations. He had thought he would need to take several more bounties to gather enough, but it turned out to be one-shot success. Lin Yuan began to search the belongings of the burly man. Suddenly, a bronze compass fell out. Lin Yuan looked at the bronze compass, and he felt a peculiar aura from it. Search the novel fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 719 Supreme Weapons? Seeking subscriptions? This compass. Lin Yuan's expression revealed a hint of surprise. In the two-dimensional world, any supernatural power would be diminished, leaving only the purest physical form. But this bronze compass emitted a certain mysterious aura to Lin Yuan. This barely detectable feeling of surpassing the suppression of the two-dimensional world made Lin Yuan slightly more solemn. As far as he knew, so far, no level of life or treasure had been able to withstand the dimensional suppression. Except CTH Novelfire, NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Ultimate existences. How do I use it? Lin Yuan keenly noticed the fresh blood remaining on the bronze compass. Is it with fresh blood? Lin Yuan speculated in his heart. I'll study it slowly when I get back. Lin Yuan pocketed the bronze compass, checked the bodies of Yunshan's 18 thieves several times to ensure nothing was overlooked, and then left with their vital organs. To claim the bounty for the Yunshan 18 thieves, one must prove that they had indeed killed the other party. And here, the proof generally consisted of the opponent's vital organs. Although Lin Yuan reaped great benefits from the bodies of the Yunshan 18 thieves, he did not forget the bounty which crystals on them. These were handed out for free, naturally not to be wasted. Dongyuan City, Shuiyu Tavern. The hunchbacked old man was dozing off. As a peak powerhouse from the ancient capital of Shuiyu ancient country, to avoid the enticements of many powers, he specially took the job as the tavern keeper in Shuiyu Tavern of Dongyuan City. Although Dongyuan City was a large city, it was far from the capital and the convergence of powers. Here, there weren't as many troubles, and the hunched old man had already decided to retire in this place. He was already very old, his vitality waning, and no longer suited to compete with those peak power which emperors in their prime. Due to the Yunshan 18 thieves moving to the surroundings, a large number of powerhouses from the ancient country have already gradually converged here. The hunched old man shook his head slightly, feeling quite helpless. The bounty alone for the Yunshan 18 thieves reached 60 million witch crystals. Plus their original possessions and the accumulations over many years, even peak witch emperors were extremely eager. However, peak witch emperors were ultimately a minority. Most of those who came to hunt the Yunshan 18 thieves were teams formed by many strong individuals. That young man is here again? The hunched old man's gaze shifted and saw Lin Yuan entering the tavern again. The hunched old man had a deep impression of Lin Yuan. First, because Lin Yuan dared to accept the bounty for the Yunshan 18 on his own. Second, because Lin Yuan was not any of the strong individuals the hunched old man knew. Third, because the time Lin Yuan had been away was too short, less than a day. Inside a private room of the tavern, Lin Yuan sat opposite the hunched old man. How is it? Are you planning to give up on the bounty mission? The old man asked without any hint of mockery. The Yunshan 18 thieves were powerful and possessed numerous trump cards. Even in his peak period, he wasn't sure of defeating them, let alone Lin Yuan, who seemed very young. The hunched old man speculated that Lin Yuan must be a scion out for experience from some major family. On a whim, he wanted to take on the bounty for the Yunshan 18, but after a day's journey, he found he couldn't even trace the Yunshan 18. So he returned to the tavern intending to give up the quest. No, I'm here to claim the bounty, Lin Yuan said. To claim the bounty? The hunched old man looked at Lin Yuan, not reacting for a moment. Claim the bounty for the Yunshan 18 thieves? This is their skulls. Lin Yuan opened the bag he carried, and 18 skulls rolled out. The proof of killing the Yunshan 18 thieves required vital organs like skulls, not just any body part. Only such vital organs like skulls could be recognized by Shuiyu Tavern. Lin Yuan had, of course, figured all this out before accepting the bounty, so there wouldn't be any issues at this time. As for how to substantiate that these skulls came from the Yunshan 18, Shuiyu Tavern had its own methods to verify this. Skulls? The hunched old man's expression became grave. Although he was not sure at the moment if these 18 skulls belonged to the Yunshan 18, with his insight, he could directly judge whether these 18 skulls came from powerhouses close to the level of a witch emperor. Witch king, witch emperor, and even witch emperor showed great difference in the degree to which they fortified their bodies, which affected the hardness and texture of their bones. This was evident to anyone with a bit of experience. Please, wait a moment. The hunched old man's tone changed immediately. He swiftly called his subordinates to take the 18 skulls out. A moment later, the hunched old man walked into the private room quickly and spoke with a bit of respect. My lord, the skulls have been confirmed to belong to the Yunshan 18. Lin Yuan nodded. The reputation of Shuiyu Tavern was indeed reliable. Lin Yuan chose to accept the bounty at Shuiyu Tavern precisely because of its leniency. Anybody could post and accept bounty missions at Shuiyu Tavern without declaring their identity. Though Shuiyu Tavern originated from Shuiyu ancient country, over the long years, it had already become independent, serving all witches or stronger beings from all 12 ancient nations. This is blood rain tea, which only the imperial clan members of Shuiyu ancient country can enjoy. The hunched old man waved his hand, and immediately a cup of tea was brought forward. The tea was the color of blood red. Lin Yuan was not planning to drink it, but casually glanced at it and noticed mysterious auras flowing within. This tea. Lin Yuan's brow twitched. The mysterious fluctuation in the tea gave him a similar feeling to the bronze compass, though far less intense and mysterious. Had he not just encountered the bronze compass, Lin Yuan would probably have just thought the tea unique, not considering a direction of breaking free from the dimensional suppression of the two-dimensional world. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 720 Supreme Weapons? Subscribe please. _2" I'll take it back to drink. Lin Yuan packed the tea along with the cup into his bundle. The hunchbacked old man was taken aback upon seeing this but dared not say more. If Lin Yuan could kill the Yunshan 18 thieves with such ease, even if he was not at the level of the Witch Emperor, he must be close to it. Even in a place like the capital where strong figures were many, he would be capable of commanding respect. Blood rain tea comes from the blood rain tea tree, which is a heritage object of the Shuiyu ancient country, existing ever since the ancient country was founded. Drinking blood rain tea can slowly improve one's physique, and it's also beneficial for cultivation over a long period. Thinking Lin Yuan was interested in the blood rain tea, the hunchbacked old man immediately began to introduce it. Blood rain tea tree? Lin Yuan memorized this name, considering that if its leaves contained a mysterious aura, then the blood rain tea tree as the source must be similar to the bronze compass, an oddity capable of resisting the dimensional suppression of the two-dimensional world. Here is the 70 million witch crystals reward. The hunchbacked old man swiftly produced a witch crystal note, issued by the 12 Kingdoms Bank and universally accepted. We're even. Lin Yuan nodded and took the witch crystal note. Would you be interested in joining us at the Shuiyu Tavern? With your strength, just by joining, you would become a grade A member of the tavern, enjoying priority in taking on bounties, and even higher commission rewards, the hunchbacked old man said immediately. The Shuiyu Tavern could issue any bounty, taking a cut from the bounty to sustain its daily operations. For example, the bounty for the Yunshan 18 thieves was as high as 70 million, but in reality, the Shuiyu Tavern took at least 20 million witch crystals as its cut. That is to say, by joining the Shuiyu Tavern, Lin Yuan would receive a reward of 90 million witch crystals. I'll think about it. Lin Yuan had no intention of joining the tavern but did not reject the offer outright. The hunchbacked old man stood up to see Lin Yuan off. Only after Lin Yuan's figure had disappeared did he return and sit down again. Just then, a man with white hair and beard appeared beside the hunchbacked old man. Master of the tavern, the man with white hair exclaimed, "The bounty for the Yunshan 18 thieves has been claimed?" "Yes." The hunchbacked old man nodded. "Who killed them?" The white-haired man was curious. The Yunshan 18 thieves were cautious and crafty. There had been Witch Emperor-level figures who tried to catch them in the past, but often they would escape before the Witch Emperor-level figures even arrived. After repeated testing, Lin Yuan cautiously took a sip. The cold tea flowed down his throat, infusing his limbs and bones. Throughout this time, Lin Yuan remained extremely alert, ready at any moment to isolate all the tea in his stomach should anything unusual occur. It indeed has a slight beneficial effect on the body. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. It must be because Lin Yuan's physical body was too strong at this moment. If a Witch King level being drank this cup of blood rain tea, it would probably not be a slight benefit but a significant boost to their physique. Blood rain tea water? Lin Yuan pondered, eventually taking out that bronze compass. Still exhibiting a distinct mystical aura despite the dimensional suppression of the two-dimensional world. Lin Yuan's mind fluctuated, his suspicions growing. Even the most powerful Tier 11 life forms could not manifest any extraordinary powers in this two-dimensional world. Yet this bronze compass did. Which meant this bronze compass could very possibly be one of the supreme weapons. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 722 Major Gains. Please subscribe. In fact, it's not entirely accurate to call it a supreme weapon. But at the very least, it is a 12-star level rare treasure. Only entities that transcend the 11 stars can withstand the rules of the two-dimensional world. Has this bronze compass been in this two-dimensional world for a very long time? A relic that was lost here from the past? Lin Yuan speculated. The two-dimensional world he was currently in was essentially a piece of white paper that had been ejected from the Taiyuan relic far beyond the universe. After traversing the vast distances through the chaos void, it ultimately squeezed into the universe of human civilization. It was unknown through what places this sheet of white paper had passed, such as inhaling lives like Lin Yuan, how many powerhouses and treasures it had absorbed. But one thing was certain. Only 12th rank lives that have stepped out of the river of time could rid themselves of becoming two-dimensional. As for the treasures and rare weapons at the 12th rank level, without a master in control, once they fully fall into the two-dimensional world, they might end up like the current bronze compass, its divine power unrevealed, merely with a faint mysterious aura circulating. Even the supreme beings, if they did not resist and allowed themselves to be absorbed into the two-dimensional world by the white paper, would probably have their strength suppressed substantially. This bronze compass? A 12-star strange treasure? Or even a supreme weapon? Lin Yuan found it hard to believe. In the main world, how precious 12-star strange treasures are, especially supreme weapons, which are the foundation of peak clans. Wielding a supreme weapon, one could unleash attacks at the supreme level. The eternal spatial rifts in the small and medium-sized battlefields of different races were created in this manner. So far, the only chance Lin Yuan had to come into contact with a 12-star rare treasure weapon was through passing the 5th floor of the demonic Jade Space Black Tower. Lin Yuan, who had reached the 9th rank and thoroughly understood the rule of time, was rewarded with a selection of 12-star treasures upon passing the 5th floor of the Black Tower. Lin Yuan could choose one from among them. Even so, Lin Yuan hadn't made his decision up to now because the opportunity was too precious. And now, a bronze compass, which was highly likely to be a supreme weapon, just appeared so easily before him. Lin Yuan believed this bronze compass was most likely a supreme weapon because it was clearly not naturally formed. It obviously had been refined later, otherwise it wouldn't have such a distinct shape as a compass. And a supreme weapon is often refined from several, or even dozens, of 12-star treasures. If I can leave this world smoothly, can't I take this bronze compass with me? Lin Yuan's heart pounded with excitement. This was a weapon of 12-star level rare treasures, right? In the two-dimensional world, it was ordinary, merely with a faint mysterious aura circulating. But once it left the two-dimensional world and appeared in the main universe, it would be a weapon of infinite divine power. In the main universe, because of that cosmic aurora, the supreme beings of human civilization and other peak clans nearly came to blows. One could imagine how precious treasures of this level were. Not just this bronze compass. The blood rain tea tree from the Shuiyu ancient country should also be a 12-star treasure. Lin Yuan suddenly thought. Merely some tea leaves could possess a slight mysterious aura. The blood rain tea tree, as the parent body, must be no less significant than the bronze compass. Do the myriad tribes' powerhouses know about this? Lin Yuan wondered to himself. At least he hadn't heard of it from Nalan. In fact, Lin Yuan's acquisition of this bronze compass was a very coincidental event. If the powerhouses of the myriad clans had similar encounters, they would surely keep it secret. As for the national treasures of the ancient countries, such as the blood rain tea tree from the Shuyu ancient country so far, the strongest among the myriad tribes' powerhouses was the Witch Emperor, with none stepping into the realm of the Witch Ancestor yet. Under these circumstances, it was impossible to directly challenge the authority of the ancient countries. But Lin Yuan speculated that day would not be far off. As time passed, there would be a large number of powerhouses from the myriad clans becoming Witch Ancestors. Even those at Tier 11, through their mastery of power, could force their way well beyond the Witch Ancestor. By then, treasures like the bronze compass would definitely not be able to be kept secret. In this two-dimensional world, there should be a considerable number of similar 12-star treasures. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Just the 12 ancient countries alone each had their own national treasures, not to mention those scattered about like the bronze compass in Lin Yuan's possession. Forget it. At least I've obtained one for now. Lin Yuan didn't have much interest in other 12-star treasures. At the moment, his attention was entirely focused on the bronze compass before him. Does using this compass require blood? Lin Yuan pondered. When he first discovered the compass, he had noticed blood stains on it. Let's try. Lin Yuan raised his right hand and squeezed out over a dozen drops of blood, letting them fall onto the compass. Hum hum hum. At the same time, the copper needle suspended in the center of the compass began to spin rapidly. Soon, the copper needle stopped. An information suddenly appeared in Lin Yuan's mind. No dangers have been detected so far. Detect dangers. In simple terms, Lin Yuan was now a Witch Emperor, but he was already invincible at that tier, and even those myriad tribes' powerhouses and 11th rank peak lives that fell into this world, as long as they were within the Witch Emperor's domain, couldn't defeat Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan had stayed in the Witch King realm for more than a decade and had only recently advanced to the Witch Emperor tier, nearly exhausting every bit of potential at the Witch King level. However, to create my own Ancestor Witch cultivation skill, it would be best to review the Ancestor Witch cultivation skills compiled by the 12 ancient countries. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Each of the founders of the 12 ancient countries in this world was an Ancestor Witch, and the Ancestor Witch cultivation skills they passed down were the foundation of the royal families of the great ancient countries. With Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, even without those Ancestor Witch cultivation skills for reference, he could create his own Ancestor Witch cultivation skill. But it would undoubtedly take much longer. Ancestor Witch cultivation skills were essentially the Ancestor Witch's exploration and enlightenment of the essence of the world. Lin Yuan reviewing those Ancestor Witch cultivation skills was akin to standing on the shoulders of past giants, greatly benefiting the creation of his own Ancestor Witch cultivation skill. It would at least save a lot of time. Currently, my power rivals the unconquered Witch King and is comparable to an Ancestor Witch. Lin Yuan made a clear assessment of himself. Purely in terms of combat power, he was no weaker than any Ancestor Witch of ancient and modern times. Of course, here, the term Ancestor Witch refers to native Ancestor Witches and doesn't include those powerhouses from myriad tribes. Some special 11th rank peak lives in the main universe once they become Ancestor Witches, leveraging their mastery of power, are definitely much stronger than those native Ancestor Witches of the past. But for those special 11th rank peak lives, once they step into the Ancestor Witch tier, their cultivation speed plummets, as there is no path forward. Now, quite a few myriad tribes' powerhouses have successively become Ancestor Witches. Lin Yuan thought of the information he had learned over the years. The cultivation paths of those myriad tribes' powerhouses completely follow this world's cultivation system, so their speed is extremely fast, and there are no bottlenecks, as the realm of their true bodies sets the stage. Lin Yuan's understanding was too profound. He ventured on his own path at the Witch King tier and even created his unique Witch Emperor's cultivation method, so in terms of pure cultivation speed, he definitely couldn't compare with those myriad tribes' powerhouses. Chapter 723, The Nine Great Powers. Please subscribe. Deep in the cosmic starry skies, the vast scroll slowly unraveled. All the supreme beings' ultimate existences stood outside the scroll, carefully observing every little detail of the massive painting. Ever since that white paper squeezed into this universe, and then was fixed here unfolding in the form of a scroll, all the 12th-stage powerhouses within the universe descended to this place. This white paper was truly too mysterious, too inconceivable, containing an entire two-dimensional world. Any being below the 12th rank that approached would be automatically dimensionally reduced. There's no way. Even if we joined forces and tried refining for hundreds of thousands, millions of years, it would still be impossible to refine this scroll. Search * the novel fire, any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Correct. This scroll gives me the feeling of the vast universe itself. How could we refine it? Go to perhaps we can't refine it from the outside, but if we descend into the scroll, there might be a chance to refine it? The ultimate existences quickly exchanged thoughts. In this period, they had basically used every method at their disposal. Not to mention refining the scroll, they couldn't even manage to shake it. What's more, that the scroll eventually came to a stop was largely not because of the many supreme beings' interference, but because the scroll itself grew tired of flying. Descend into the scroll? The unicorn supreme being glanced at the other many supreme beings. Indeed, this method was the most promising one they had deduced, yet no supreme being was willing to try it. Supreme beings could resist the automatic dimensional reduction of the scroll. But if they gave up resisting, they would naturally fall into the two-dimensional world within the scroll. It's easy to fall in, but it won't be so easy to get out. If an accident occurred inside, leading to the demise of the descended avatar, the foundational loss would still synchronize with the Supreme Being's main body. For those 10th and 11th rank powerhouses who fell into the scroll, even if their avatars died within, it wouldn't have a significant impact on the forces behind them. The great alliance of peak clans would definitely not be shaken by the loss of a few 11th rank lives. But it was different for the Supreme Beings. If they suffered a drastic drop in strength or were seriously injured, the impact would be extremely far-reaching, and could even change the current situation of the Starry Sky races. Let's wait and see. So many strong members of my clan have fallen in. Let's wait for the next opening of the Heavenly Gate to see if they can come out. Each supreme being, each ultimate existence, was very cautious. They all realized the extreme importance of this scroll. Whoever could refine it would be akin to gaining the combat power of 2 or 3 more supreme beings. But now they couldn't rush. The two-dimensional world. In Dongyuan City at Shuiyu Tavern, a hunchbacked old man was dozing off. Suddenly, just at that moment, the hunchbacked old man seemed to sense something and abruptly opened his eyes, only to see that a young man had taken a seat not far away at some point in time. "My lord," the hunchbacked elder's heart trembled, and he immediately stood up and said respectfully, "I've come here to make a deal with your Shuiyu Tavern." Lin Yuan spoke, his tone calm and steady. Over the years, he had gradually acquired many cultivation resources through Shuiyu Tavern, and the two of them had become quite familiar. Although Shuiyu Tavern originated from Shuiyu Ancient Country, it operated independently of the Ancient Country, with branches spread throughout the 12 ancient countries, maintaining an excellent reputation. Of course, to be completely safe, Lin Yuan would always use the bronze compass to confirm that there was no danger in this area before each visit. Upon descending to this two-dimensional world, Lin Yuan didn't really trust anyone. "Please, speak," the hunchbacked elder immediately said in a low voice. The more he interacted with Lin Yuan, the more he could sense Lin Yuan's terror. Initially, the hunchbacked elder thought that Lin Yuan was a powerhouse approaching the level of the Witch Emperor. But today, the Tuoba elder understood how ridiculous his original thought was. Approaching the Witch Emperor? With Lin Yuan's strength, he would be considered incredibly strong even among the Witch Emperors. As for Lin Yuan's youthful appearance, in this world, there were some miraculous items, such as the blood rain tea tree from the Shuiyu ancient country and other relics capable of maintaining eternal youth. In the hunchbacked elder's mind, Lin Yuan must be some ancient monster who had remained hidden from the world for who knows how many years, and his youthful appearance was merely a facade. I want some cultivation techniques, ancestor witch cultivation skills, Lin Yuan said directly. Ancestral sorcerer-level cultivation skills? The hunchbacked elder was shocked but also felt it made sense. With Lin Yuan's strength, it was probably only the ancestor witch cultivation skills, symbolic of the highest level in this world, that could catch his interest. My lord, any ancestral sorcerer-level cultivation skill comes with a significant origin, if not from some ancient country, then from certain supreme forces. The hunchbacked elder was somewhat troubled. With the influence and power of Shuiyu Tavern, they were indeed capable of obtaining ancestral sorcerer-level cultivation skills. But obtaining those skills was one thing. Whether they dared to sell them openly was another matter entirely. He just needed to grasp the overall concept behind each of the ancestral sorcerer cultivation techniques. A moment later, Lin Yuan had finished looking through all ancestral sorcerer-level cultivation skills. He then stood up and left. The hunched old man bowed to see him off. Once Lin Yuan had disappeared, the hunched old man pondered with a thoughtful expression. The Lord purchasing so many ancestral sorcerer cultivation techniques, could it be that? The hunched old man swallowed hard, faintly suspecting something. At the peak of a mountain, Lin Yuan's figure appeared, and he sat down cross-legged. These 8 ancestral sorcerer cultivation techniques' exposition of the essence of power is still not perfect. However, the represented direction does have many merits. Lin Yuan thought quietly to himself, especially the Chongqing cultivation skill from the mysterious Chongqing ancient country. This particular cultivation technique provided Lin Yuan with the greatest enlightenment, which was longevity. Those who stepped into the ancestral sorcerer realm with this technique lived twice as long as other sorcerers at the same level. Of course, the Chongqing cultivation skill had its drawbacks as well. It wasn't effective in direct combat. Although Chongqing ancestral sorcerer lived the longest, his combat strength ranked at the very bottom amongst all the ancestors in history. But with Lin Yuan's Against Heaven's understanding, he could completely extract its essence and enhance the longevity aspect of his own cultivation body. He could even greatly boost the longevity effect and shatter the theoretical limits of the Chongqing cultivation skill. Longevity, for all the myriad tribes' powerhouses that have fallen into the two-dimensional world, it is far more critical than one might imagine, and for Lin Yuan it is an avenue of retreat. If after 300 years, when the heavenly gate opens, Lin Yuan cannot sweep across all the 11th rank peak life forms and reach the gate, then he can only hope for the next opening of the heavenly gate. And each opening of the heavenly gate occurs at intervals of 10,000 years. Of course, that's the worst-case scenario. With Lin Yuan's Against Heaven's understanding, with an equal starting point, after more than 300 years of cultivation, those 11th rank peak life forms couldn't possibly be his opponents. If I can fully integrate this Chongqing cultivation skill into my own, I can extend my life by at least 20 to 30,000 years. Lin Yuan silently mused. Here, the extension of life refers to the extension within this two-dimensional world. Living for 20 to 30,000 more years, he could almost experience 3 to 4 heavenly gate openings. With such an extended period, even if a supreme being descended, Lin Yuan was confident he could thoroughly overpower and crush them. Then there are the other 7 ancestral sorcerer cultivation techniques, which can enrich my ancestral sorcerer-level Dao path in exploring the essence of power. Lin Yuan's mind swiftly processed the details and specifics of the ancestral sorcerer cultivation techniques, eventually assimilating them into his own and integrating them into the perfection of his ancestral sorcerer realm. Main universe. Virtual world. Lin Yuan and Nalan, the deputy tower master, exchanged information regularly. Nalan and the human evolvers had carved out a stronghold in the capital of an ancient country, using it to continuously develop and strengthen. When it came to gathering intelligence, they far surpassed Lin Yuan. Galaxy Master, among the myriad tribes powerhouses present in the two-dimensional world, 98 have definitively stepped into the ancestral witch realm, and among them, 9 ancestral sorcerers possess much stronger abilities, creating a noticeable gap from other ancestral sorcerers, reported Naylan in a serious tone. 98 ancestral sorcerers? Lin Yuan's expression was solemn. In the history of the two-dimensional world, the birth of all ancestral sorcerers put together might not even total to 98. Moreover, these 98 ancestral sorcerers, although they belong to the ancestral sorcerer realm, undoubtedly have combat power far surpassing those native ancestral sorcerers from history. Search the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. As soon as they clashed, the slender figure holding the blood-colored long knife sliced through the air, and the burly figure was cut in half. This? Lin Yuan's pupils slightly constricted. A one-hit kill? How could this be? Even the Four Divine King, when killing the Tianyu clan's ancestor, which had to make several moves. But now, the slender figure had killed his opponent in a second? Is it the knife? Lin Yuan instantly noticed the blood-colored long knife in the hands of the slender figure. The knife was so sharp it seemed to tear through the void. Is it an oddity? A supreme weapon? Lin Yuan immediately thought of the bronze compass he had acquired. Despite the distance of the video, the bronze compass gave him a similar aura. Yes, it's the knife, confirmed Naylan, the Vice Tower Master, nodding. The wielder is called Ho Zhu, an 11th rank powerhouse of the prison tribe, who was at about the 4th layer of Tier 11 before falling into the two-dimensional world. Ho Zhu's strength was not outstanding among the many 11th rank beings, but because of this knife, he soared to become the strongest next to the Four Divine Kings. Naylan, the Vice Tower Master, paused for a moment and continued. In the two-dimensional world, there are many oddities. These oddities are likely at the 12-star level, capable of exerting some extraordinary power under the suppression of the two-dimensional world. So that's how it is, Lin Yuan whispered. In fact, he had known about the existence of these special artifacts for quite some time, and he even still had one on hand. The effects of these artifacts vary, but they all have significant uses. Many ancestral witches are now searching for them everywhere. Naylan, the Deputy Tower Master, said, take the Ho Zhu of the prison tribe as an example, who soared to the heavens with the help of a blood-colored long knife. Next, Lin Yuan continued to watch the 3rd, 4th, 5th videos. So far, the strongest 9 ancestral witches recognized in the two-dimensional world include 6 special life forms. The remaining 3 are 1 from the prison tribe, 1 from the Yu clan, and 1 from human civilization. The Yu clan, among the peak clans, is arguably the most powerful, with 9 supreme beings like human civilization, but with a history far more ancient. Sir the Nafire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. They are a terrifying clan that was born at the dawn of the universe. Our human civilization's ancestral, which barely ranks 9th. Naylan, the Deputy Tower Master, said with a shake of his head. That's still not bad, as other peak clans like the Insect Race and the Tianyu clan didn't even make it into the top 9. Are there more videos? Lin Yuan wanted to see the battle videos of other ancestral witch-level powerhouses. There are. Naylan, the Deputy Tower Master, nodded. Lin Yuan continued to watch for a while. Sure enough. And now, such treasures were within reach even for 6th rank and 9th rank powerhouses. How could the powerhouses from the myriad tribes not be driven mad? and the rare treasures obtained not only served great purposes when brought back to the main universe but also significantly boosted their capabilities within this two-dimensional world. Wuxia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Over the past 100 years, it was common to see a powerhouse from the myriad tribes, leveraging an offensive rare treasure, slaying dozens of peers at the same level. Even if I can't make it out in the end, as long as a fellow tribesman makes it, I can hand over all the rare treasures to be taken out by them, Lin Yuan secretly thought. This way, even if his avatar perished here and his true self suffered fundamental losses, it wouldn't be too bad, as ultimately, a 12-star level treasure weapon would be taken out. The supreme beings among his tribe would not mistreat them. Rare treasures. Lin Yuan pondered internally. For over 100 years, he had been deeply immersed in seclusion. The furthest he had been was Dongyuan City, with little progress in collecting rare treasures. The only mystical object he had on hand was still the bronze compass. I could also find time to acquire some mystical objects for protection. Lin Yuan thought to himself, even with mystical objects, the enhancement to his own strength was limited. With Lin Yuan's current strength, even those powerhouses from the Witch Ancestor 13th and 15th realm wielding mystical objects were no match for him. Xiaoyu Evolution Tower. An avatar of Lin Yuan was sitting here, perceiving the cosmic aurora not far away. More than a year ago, Lin Yuan Taiyin Primordial Spirit had rushed here, and shortly after he left an avatar behind before departing. Perceiving the cosmic aurora with an avatar was enough, as there was no danger involved. As for the Taiyin Primordial Spirit, Lin Yuan immediately had it proceed to other large alien battlefields to maintain the speed of accumulating world-breaking origin force. Your perception is extraordinary. By watching the unknown aurora, your understanding of light rules deepened. Your perception is extraordinary. By watching the unknown aurora, your understanding of causality rules deepened. Your perception is extraordinary. By watching the unknown aurora, you've comprehended and fully grasped the causality fluctuation rules. Causality fluctuation rules? A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. This fusion rule encompassed the space rules, light rules, causality rules among 4 different rules, and though it wasn't strong in direct combat, it possessed unimaginably powerful supportive effects. Causality fluctuation? Causality line? As long as I'm willing to pay the price and erase someone's cause, then the ensuing effect will also disappear. Lin Yuan said in awe. Does this disappearance mean complete eradication, to the extent that even supreme beings can't resurrect? However, the cost is quite substantial, and it requires enough medium too. Lin Yuan slightly shook his head. Everything that deals with causality rules starts with paying a price. Causal curse killing requires a price, and now the causality fluctuation line does too. With my current life level, can I erase the causality of 6th rank or lower lives? Lin Yuan pondered to himself. Continue the perception. After a moment of contemplation, Lin Yuan continued observing that cosmic aurora in the distance. Two-dimensional world. Lin Yuan was cultivating. Just at this moment, Zharangu rushed over in a hurry. Master, I received a message from Shuiyu Tavern. There have been frequent traces of brutal killings inside the Shuiyu ancient country recently. Zharangu quickly reported. Traces of brutal killings? A slight shift occurred in Lin Yuan's heart. If it was something that alarmed Shuiyu Tavern and was directly relayed to him through Zharangu, the brutality of the situation was certainly not ordinary. Could it be those powerful beings from myriad clans have begun to search within the Shuiyu ancient country, scouring everywhere for treasures, and incidentally killing the common myriad clans' powerhouses hiding within, to clear the ground for the heavenly gates opening 200 years later? Lin Yuan roughly speculated. Thinking of this, the true body of Lin Yuan in the main universe, quickly connected to the virtual world, entering the shared information network world established for those who fell into the two-dimensional world of human civilization evolution. He began searching for information. This shared information network world provided timely intelligence about many affairs in the two-dimensional world, and was also a major source of information for human civilization evolvers. Not long after, Lin Yuan found some relevant information. 6 months ago in the two-dimensional world, led by Tuoba Ancient God, a group of special beings began to collaborate and enter the territory of Shueyu ancient country, searching everywhere for treasures. The human civilization evolver who posted this information also specifically warned that Tuoba ancient god was very powerful, and the special beings cooperating with him were all at least from the witch ancestors' 10th realm. If any human evolvers were hiding inside Shueyu ancient country, they must escape early. Otherwise, once discovered by Tuoba ancient god and his group of special beings, it would be too late to escape. So far, Tuoba ancient god and other special beings have allied with the Star Alliance and won't stop because of human civilization's deterrence. Tuoba ancient god? Lin Yuan continued to look for the latest information about this ancient god. Tuoba ancient god, who was ranked 12th among the powerhouses of myriad tribes 100 years ago, even if his ranking has slightly fallen, still maintained a position within the top 20. His true realm is approximately in the witch ancestor 12th realm. It's worth mentioning that Tuoba ancient god possesses a defensive treasure, which is also his greatest confidence booster. Defensive treasure? Lin Yuan was somewhat intrigued, not to mention bringing this defensive treasure back to the main universe, where it would be a defensive 12-star rare weapon. Just in this two-dimensional world alone, a defensive treasure could significantly enhance Lin Yuan's survivability, greatly increasing his margin for error. Tuoba ancient god, an excellent opportunity to settle new and old scores together. Lin Yuan stood up and vanished from the spot. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 727 Crushing Tier 11. Please subscribe. The master has left? Zha Gu looked up and discovered that the figure sitting in meditation not far away had disappeared. It seems that the master doesn't care much about this matter. Zha Gu thought to himself, while simultaneously a hint of concern arose in his heart. Shueyu Tavern had passed on the information as soon as possible to him, which surely meant they had sensed something different. But Lin Yuan didn't even ask several detailed questions about it, which in Zha Gu's view was perhaps a bit too complacent. Zha Gu had no idea that Lin Yuan had already thoroughly understood the whole story through the information-sharing channels established by the external human civilization. He even knew who was behind it all. In the northwestern region of Shueyu ancient country, it was a wasteland as far as the eye could see, filled with desolate gobi everywhere. On a sand dune, Lin Yuan stood quietly, his gaze fixed on a certain spot 100 miles away. Compared to the native witch ancestors, the powerhouses from the myriad tribes not only possessed even more formidable combat power and near-perfect application of power, but they also had one more advantage. That was perception. When the myriad tribes' powerhouses fell into the two-dimensional world, although all means were suppressed and they had to start over according to the rules of the two-dimensional world, the spirit will power originating from their true body still brought with it powerful perception. When Lin Yuan was at the peak of the Witch Emperor, he accepted the bounty of the Yun Mountain 18 Thieves, and with his perception, it only took him less than half a day in a vast primitive forest to lock onto the location of the Yun Mountain 18 Thieves. For the native powerhouses, this was something inconceivable. Even the formidable witch ancestor would find it difficult to locate the Yun Mountain 18 Thieves in such a short time. Of course, the perception of the myriad tribes' powerhouses depended on the strength they possessed in that world. Now, as a witch ancestor of the 18th realm, Lin Yuan's perception enveloped everything within 100 miles. At the edge of the 100 miles, Lin Yuan detected several massive auras lurking, at least all existing in the witch ancestor's 10th realm, a domain that native powerhouses could never reach in their entire lives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a total of 6. According to the intelligence, the Tuoba ancient god formed a group with 5 tier 11 special lives to hunt and search for rare items. Lin Yuan thought to himself naturally he had collected all the information about the Tuoba ancient god and his group before making a move.